Good evening, everyone, and good evening, and a very happy Christmas to every one of you listening to me this evening. And I say to all of us, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas for those of you who find time to join this evening. As I said 2 days ago, that I'm going to do my usual Friday hangout. See, one of the things that normally happens during Christmas is that we lose sight of dates or days and we only count in dates. Not many people will remember that today is actually Friday. And being the 25th of December 2020, there is a lot to be, thankful for. And this evening broadcast is going to be a normal conversation. I hope you can hear me and you can hear me well. So I hope it's going to be a normal conversation where at some point you ring in, we will have conversation, and that conversation that is going to be interactive. Okay. So having said that, what is going to happen now is that I first of all want to say welcome this evening, and thank you for joining me. And I would say a very fantastic Christmas wishes to you all, because obviously this year has been a very turbulent one. It has been a very a year of trial, a year where many of us, myself included, we have lost virtually 10 months. 10 months of inactivity, 10 months of not being able to travel, 10 months of, everything almost coming to standstill. But there are people as well, there are brothers and sisters who also have profited from these, the downtime that we have. There are people I know, especially people in the logistics, sector, that have really profited from what is happening. But be that as it may, wherever you are, whether you're profiting from it, whether it has hit you hard the way it's hit many of us, I would say enjoy it, and we hope that it's going to be better. Now, as usual, and as I promised, we will be, it will be nice to know where you're watching us from. It appears that this broadcast is going to be majorly for the diasporan brothers and sisters, those who are relaxing. I know some of you in the diaspora also work today, especially those in the health sectors, that you are also, some of you went to work and some of you just come back now and you are now relaxing. So the conversation this evening will be centered on the, something that we can look at. It's Christmas, and obviously your president has addressed the nation. If I do a poll now and say, how many of you actually took time to listen to what your president said? I didn't bother, because it's very uninspiring. Sometimes you will struggle to hear what he's saying. So it doesn't make sense. It's just like a nation that has actually thrown away 3 years waiting for 2023 to come. But there is the likelihood that the 2023 might be a year that might never come. 2023 might be a year that might never come. So, if we go to the chat section, can we look at how many of you in the chat section actually listened to the presidential broadcast today? I think Charles Maduka is saying that he didn't basically listen to what the president has to say. Charles, you're not alone. And Charles, I think Charles is joining us from Dublin. Now, oh, we have another person joining us from Dublin. It appears this broadcast is going to be more majorly for the European counter, brothers and sisters. But I was hoping to also see many people joining and watching me from the United States of America and Canada. Obviously, they might still be going to church. There are still people, actually, in this COVID period. There are still people that can brace it and are still going to church. Ikenna, I will say thank you very much, and I'll say Merry Christmas, Ikenna. I use this broadcast to give as many as my followers and my fans. I will say, give you people a shout out. Ikenna is the one that is watching us from Estonia. Ikenna, which city are you in Estonia? I don't know if you're in Tallinn, because like I said the other day, I've been in Tallinn. And I have Madu Abuchi. Madu Abuchi is watching us from Philadelphia. Oh, that reminds me of one of Osadebe's music, the one that says they went to Philadelphia to play music. IJ Philadelphia, EG Kuegu. So, my brother, welcome to this evening broadcast. Okay, so we would take more of your comment and actually, to know where you are watching us from, and if possible, I would put my, Ikenna is in Tallinn. Yeah, Tallinn. I like Tallinn. They have. That was when I was still young. They had, beautiful themselves there. It's a very nice place. Though when I was there, it was very a racial country, I must say. Very, very racial. I think in the early 2000s was when they were coming out of the Soviet Union. So I was nearly attacked in a bus. They had this bus that run with cable, electric. So I was nearly attacked in a bus. But luckily, I was with an Israeli friend of mine, a colleague at the university, and whom also is a soldier. So, he was able to do some combatants. So the training Israel gave him was not in vain, that he was able to combat, do some magic, and someone fell on the floor because they were really, And while in Estonia, I can't remember, there was a beer. So we went to a beer company, and eventually, from nowhere, I became a model for beer to do advert. I can't remember how much euros. No, that was euro, not D-Mark then. I was paid to just feature in an advert. They were looking for an American. Me, no be American. I'm Igbo man to the core, and an Igbo man to the core before the British came and gave us and split us. Before we get to Buhari, maybe we'll look at. So today we're going to look at so many things anyway. So, we're going to look at the issue, Buhari, if he ought to resign, because the reason why I brought it up is as a result of an article I read from, there was an article I read previously from The Nations. I will share the article with us. So, and the article actually asked, should President Buhari resign? But like I said, before we get to that, so let me just quickly take some more, look at what people are saying. Oh, King of Kings is watching from Bedfordshire in the United Kingdom. Oh, that's good. I like Bedfordshire. It's a little bit quieter as opposed to the city of London. And Jacksonville, Florida. Wow, Jacksonville, Florida. I love Florida as well. Is it funny enough? All the cities you guys are mentioning here, I've been in all these cities. I worked for an American company called Manitowoc then, head office is in Tampa, Florida. And so I normally fly into Tampa and, obviously rent a car and drive around because I like driving myself. So that's an easier way to get to know, especially when you come to work, you do your work Fridays, you can drive out, Oh, I like the Bay Area, the beach. I mean, Florida is really good and it's very warm as well. Sometimes it feels even hotter than Nigeria. Okay. So, and Ikenna says that the bus that I talked about in Estonia is called Trollabus. Okay, I don't know. It's been a long time. I think about since 2002. It's really like 18 years ago. Come on. If 18 years ago, it's a long time. So greetings, Collins Ernest. Thank you very much for your time this evening. OTJ says absolutely yes, Nigerian has no president. So we will see if Buhari is going to. I wish there is a way to do a poll online now so that you guys can tell us if Buhari should stay in power or if Buhari should resign. But however your decision is. And someone sent a joke. Let me see if I can quickly find that joke. I kind of like that joke that has to do with the second Niger bridge. He said that there is too much traffic at the old Niger bridge. Everyone, especially those APC members coming home for Christmas, should use the second Niger bridge that they have built. I find that a little bit, I say to myself, people can be very creative. So every APC member should not use the old Niger bridge. They should use the second Niger bridge that they have built. Now, if they haven't built it, then they should use a virtual one. So, that's the thing about that joke. Okay, so let's get quickly into this article here. Now, if we read this article, and this article was written by Ibrahim Mustafa, okay? Now, it starts by saying, here, sir, there have been persistent call from various angles for President Muhammadu Buhari to take a bow and resign due to the deteriorating insecurity bewildering the country. If I go to some of the press statements that I signed and I made in 2016, and I look at them today and I say, whoa, I mean, one was really, forthright in calling it out. That was 2016. Now, many people who didn't see it then are now beginning to see it, 2020, and some of them are beginning to wake up. And Ibrahim continues, he said, the first group to ask for President Buhari's resignation is the Northern Elders Forum. Now, these are Northerners. These are not Southerners, neither are they Easterners or are they Westerners. These are Northerners. He says, following by other sociocultural group, in 2015, when President Buhari and his party APC were looking for votes, and the country was grasping with myriad security and economic challenges, the campaign promises were premised on securing the country, fighting corruption, and fixing the economy. The enthusiasm and expectations were greeted with his, first coming were high. That is, when he first came, they were, everybody was really hopeful that he was going to do wonders. If you remember and if you recall, when Buhari first came in 2015, people really hoped that he was going to do some magic. Remember, there was a time people were talking about body language. There was a time they said the refinery in Port Harcourt and in Kaduna, they are all now working. People kind of hoped. At some point, even those that were skeptical, like myself, at some point, it began to feel as if there was something happening. But we never knew. When he knew that, the man had no plans was when he started traveling around the world and people asked him, sir, what is happening? And he would tell you, oh, yeah, ministers, like 6 years to appoint minister, 6 months to appoint ministers. That was, look at Joe Biden is barely elected, not even sworn in. Because again, because we operate the same system that gives you about 90 days that you're called president-elect, it is expected within this period of time that you get your acts together so that by the time you come into office, you hit the ground running. Look at Joe Biden, for instance. Joe Biden almost has everything ready just to take over. But ask yourself, and that's one question I've been asking, what was Buhari actually doing in that 3 months, 90 days plus? What was he actually doing in this time that he was not, given any thought to how governance should be? What stopped him from really getting, if you had so much wanted to govern this space called Nigeria, because I don't call it a nation, it's not a country, it's just a space. If you so much wanted to govern this space and you've asked people to vote for you, eventually they did. They gave you their vote. Then 3 months. British Prime Minister was, what's it called? Boris Johnson. When he was elected, when he took over from Theresa May, the moment it happened that he took over from May, within 48 hours, he had all his teams in place. Everyone that was going to work for him. That is when people that that understand that governance is not a conversation for Zaza room. It's serious business. It's not a conversation for how starched your agbada is, or how white, or how your agbada is pressed, or if it's someone from the south, that you have a senator really ironed and. No, it's not how long your convoy is. You're making decisions. And to note, and that is the tragedy that is beyond Buhari, that has to do with anyone that has governed Nigeria, to note that you are governing a developing nation, giant of Africa, walking on a mosquito limb. You should understand that you have modern work to do, more than any other nation on earth, because you have a very restive population, young, looking for direction. What people don't understand is presidency is not only what you see in the office. Presidency gives hope, inspire people. Take Obama, for instance. You can disagree on some of the policies that Obama brought in. But there is one thing that Obama presidency have done, is that Obama presidency inspired hope. Joe Biden, invariably we do. You know how? I do understand that some of my brothers and sisters somehow prefer Trump. Sadly, I don't. That's a personal reason. The part of the reason is because in Biden, I see no inspiration of hope. That's what part of governance does. People were killed in Obibo. People were killed in Lekki when everything was happening. Trump doesn't really care. But for the fact that when the issue of NSAS was happening and the Nigerian government began to do the things that they did, at least they say from the smell of the fat, you will know or have an idea how the real cocoa would taste. And but suddenly you saw that Hillary Clinton condemned the Lakey invasion. Joe Biden condemned the Lakey invasion. What it meant for me personally is that if they can do this even when they are not yet in office, that means when they eventually come to office, there is something that would happen. That's my interpretation of that. That's the way I understood it. Now, let me get back to this article that says, should Buhari resign? Now, you come back here, and as I've said, when Buhari took over, we lost 6 months. Actually, we lost 9 months. 9 months, not 6, because Nigeria operated without ministers in 6 months. Right? 6 months before he appointed ministers. It's actually funny how we forget. Remember that time, you normally see suddenly a list will trend. And they will come out, they will say, no, those lists are fake. But eventually, when the real list came out, 80% of whatever has been trending, Lai Mohammed, Chibika Amechi, blah, 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 were all in that list. Then you ask yourself, was it what took him 6 months to assemble? He could have assembled that same list within 1 hour. So why did it take him 6 months? Why? I don't know. Why does it take him too much time? People will die in Zamfara. It will take protest to the street, people getting angry before he speaks. People will protest in the whole of Nigeria, it will take army invading Lekki, and everybody's now getting mad before he speaks. And I ask, is he an oracle? Do we need to go and buy a particular chicken to be sacrificing for him to address you? In this manner, you keep asking yourself, why? So when people start calling for his resignation, it's not out of hatred or out of malice. There are things you cannot do. If things are beyond your capacity, you can't do them. Now, let me get back to Ibrahim's write-up. Ibrahim says, although it took him 6 months to constitute his cabinet. Now, like I said before, 6 months plus 3 months between the time he answered president-elect. That's freaking 9 months. Because within that time he was answering president-elect, he could actually be working. He could actually be saying, okay, if I start now, this is what I'm going to do. When they said, oh, people were returning money. How can you tell us people returned money? It's very hard for you to tell us how much they return. It's very hard for you to tell us who returned it. Now, 5 years, 6 years later, tell us all those money you had during the time that people were returning money. Where are those monies and what were they used for? Who has been prosecuted? 6 years down the line, who is in jail? Nigerians had confidence that Buhari administration will be the best thing to happen to democracy. To the satisfaction of Nigerians, the war against Boko Haram insurgency improved significantly. Well, Ibrahim, that is to be questioned. Now, the bombing of places of worship, market, and motor parks were contained and drastically reduced. Yes, that I agree. I mean, we knew when Abuja, I think, was it called Banex Plaza or whatever, was bombed. I mean, there was a time it was indeed catastrophic that places of worship, things were being bombed in Abuja, left, right, and center. Motor parks, I mean, there was a time motor parks were bombed in Abuja, yes. But thank goodness, I mean, I think even the Saint Teresa, the Christmas Day bombing, just went off. Yes, the people of Northeast who were held hostage by the dreaded Boko Haram heaved a sigh of relief as the group were pushed back, and then negative operations limited to soft targets. Our battered economy improved. Well, I would say our battered economy appeared to have improved before it was hit in the third quarter of 2016 with a recession, notwithstanding. Now, remember, as of that time, he was running the country without any economic advisor, right? He was running the country without any economic advisor. So if he was running the economy without any economic advisor, how could we have expected him to do wonders? How? Right? He's not an economist. So he's running the economy without any economic advisor. So what do you expect in that regard? At the end of the day, people, the bottom line here is that in this piece of article written by Ibrahim here, it begins to question and just basically gave insight into that question: should the president resign? The war against corruption took an impressive turn, with many corrupt people arrested and their illegally acquired assets recovered or seized, at least. Well, as it appears, Buhari's first tenure deserves a pat on the back. No, I will say I disagree. It does not deserve any pat, because you arrested people. You could not account for the recoveries made. Those recoveries ought to be on a dedicated website or page on the Ministry of Finance website. You know, I had written then to the government then at the beginning of their tenure that if I wrote to the Minister of Information then, what the best thing you guys need to do is to have a dedicated page. It doesn't take you 30 minutes, even an hour to do. Every single recovery. You don't need Maazi Ezeoke, you don't need Adamu, you don't need Ibrahim to write you to know how much you have recovered. That should be on those websites, that people could go in and see. This is Maazi Ezeoke stole 1 naira. This is how much Maazi Ezeoke stole. Even when we pushed, Lai Mohammed was telling us, oh, there are some legal issues. That's the reason why they cannot. Now, not to talk of even his own, the only thing he promised, that he was going to make it his asset declaration public, and that he was also going to force everyone, meaning every single person, including the vice president, that they were going to declare their assets as well. Now, juxtapose that to Yaradua from the same casting. He never campaigned on anti-corruption. But what Yaradua did was very simple. He filled his form. He gave it to Code of Conduct Bureau. He made photocopies, called press conference, read his assets, gave it to them. That was all. Now, tell me, amongst these two individuals, who do you think is now more transparent? Because if someone who did not campaign on anti-corruption was able to do that, why and what is stopping someone who campaigned on anti-corruption, and what is stopping that individual to do so? Okay, so if then we go back again and we look at what Ibrahim is saying, he said, many Nigerians who thought, okay, and this is a very critical part here, many Nigerians who thought he would be the Messiah have given up. His diehard supporters have started expressing anger, frustration with the way and manner which he is piloting the affairs of the country. This cannot be unconnected with the rising cases of insecurity, poverty, hunger in the country, with government looking helplessly on. Again, it appears the government is standing akimbo and looking at the people cry. If not, why would bandits be ravaging your own state of origin? And it appears there is no hope in sight. Again, they said the North, which gave Buhari the highest vote both in 2015 and 2019, I believe, election is bleeding. So that was a mistake there. 2019, I believe, 2019 election is bleeding. Bandits and kidnappers have overrun the region. Now, the recent massacre here, this is his conclusion here. Let's quickly go through his conclusion. He says, the recent massacre of over 43 rice farmers in Zabamani has proven that the war against the insurgents is far from over. What Nigerians keep hearing from Mr. President is that he has been giving directives to the Chief of Army Staffs to arrest the situation and do the needful. Now, it would only take a man who has gone cuckoo, who is insane, to be doing the right, or rather to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and be expecting different results. I mean, unless the person is absolutely insane. That is not my citation, that is Albert Einstein. How can you keep the same people that have continuously failed since 2015, 5 years to 6 years later, we are still keeping them on? Then our sanity must be checked. While Mr. President claimed to have absolute confidence in the service chiefs, most Nigerians have long passed a vote of no confidence on them due to the escalation of insecurity under their watch. Constitutionally, President Buhari was elected in 2019 to serve for another 4 years. Buhari is neither terminally ill, well, we don't know, nor has he committed impeachable offense to warrant his impeachment or resignation. Sometimes one thing that really puts me off with my northern brothers is they will rigmarole, say all these things. Now they will still fall short of calling a spade a spade. I have on this platform more than 5 occasions called for Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State to resign, and I still say it till this moment, and I mean it. Because he has proven not to have the capacity to govern Abia State and to bring it to where it ought to be. And I have no apologies. But here we are. He says is Ibrahim Mustafa, Pambagua, Kaduna State, right? Now, his conclusion tells you that this is Stockholm syndrome. People are suffering, yet the people that are suffering most will still be defending their oppressors. Look at his conclusion. Instead of calling for his head, Mr. President appointee should save his neck by buckling up. Listen, if you have been buckling up in the last 5 years and you cannot even buckle up your sandals and you're still hoping that the person will buckle up, I don't know what is wrong with you. And in his final words, he said, let me tell him, Nigerians are suffering. No! Wallahi talai, Nigerians are not suffering. We are not suffering. No, we like it. Buhari is doing very well. Hi. How can you say that Nigerians are suffering? We are not suffering. You see, the light now, the light in our houses. If I go out now, the light outside, you can see light everywhere. Do you hear the sound of generator? No, we've thrown away all our generator. The light in Nigeria now, sometimes you wake up, you say, hi, now, wow. You think you are in Japan or somewhere because the light, NEPA no longer takes light. Buhari is doing very well. NEPA no longer takes light. Insecurity, even now, even if you run out of petrol and you come on the road and the police greet you, they can give you money to go and buy food. That is the new Nigeria. Buhari is doing well. The service chiefs have done excellently well. They've even pursued all the Boko Haram, all the terrorists. They are either in Niger, Chad, or they've gone to other places where they can go and do whatever. Now, those saying 4+4, please, it should be 4+4+4. He's doing well. Give him another 4 years. In fact, Buhari to 2027. Maybe that would, at some point, make their brains to reset, right? At some point, maybe that would make their brains to reset, because you cannot imagine that people could be saying something like this. Oh, that it is this or it is the other one. Come on. You think sometimes us, I don't even know what to say to us, to be honest with you people. I don't even know what to say to us. But the bottom line is that he's not doing well. So if he's not doing well, then I think it is, if he's gonna throw in the towel, let him throw in the towel, because that is the only thing that I think that will make sense. I don't know what you think. I'm going to open the telephone lines, and you can call to give a shout out to your loved ones, those in Nigeria here watching, and those in the diaspora. So you can give a shout out or you can make a contribution. So we'll see, we can make this a quick and a surgical presentation. So while you're doing that, please, can you kindly share this video, please? Give the video a thumbs up. You can like the video, you can share the video, and please endeavor to give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do. Now, as you all know, whatever is happening, I like to say this quote from Chinua Achebe, that the sun will shine on those who stand before it shines. The sun will shine on those who stand before it. It shines on those who kneels under them. I hope we understand, because it's only those who are willing and ready and who understands what it takes to be a great people, and who understand what it means to govern and demand accountability will be those that will be ready too. But in the case of the current president, it appeared he was, I don't know, sometimes I feel, was he really overwhelmed, or what was happening? Yeah. What was happening? Why is he not living up to expectation? So at the end of the day, oh yeah. Odera says to support Maazi, a bag of rice is now 5,500, and $1 is now equal $1. Fuel is now 60. Oh dear, it is indeed funny. Odera, you cute person, says one bag of rice is now 5,000. That 5,000 can't even buy you the what's it called? I think it's the 10 no, oh well, it can't even buy you the 20 kg. Yeah, can't even buy you the 20 kg anymore. And John Eagley says they are defending their own and crying in secret. Well, I'll say, cry me a river. Then, well done. Don't. Then you cry. You keep crying, because at the end of the day, if you are not willing to man up enough to do the needful, to hold your leaders to account, then you can cry all you wish. There is no two ways about it. You can cry or you can, because at the end of the day, who are the ones suffering? Yes, we understand that there are insecurity everywhere, but again, the southeast Nigeria remains the most secured place in Nigeria, the most peaceful place in Nigeria as it stands today. You know, so that is something that no matter how we look at it, we cannot run away from that fact. So do I have a color? Oh, okay. I have a color, and this. Oh, hold on. The color is dropped. Okay. So the last color, you can call back again if you want to have a contribution or give your shout out. So, yeah. Okay. Okay says they are all weak, but you see their power and strength only on Maazi Khan, sabotaging Khan, my poor. Yeah. And that's something strange, because whenever they hear like anything evil, anything that has to do with the evil, all of them, just for someone to say we want a referendum, rather for you to discuss and say, how do we want to do this? And suddenly referendum turns and becomes war. Yet, those that have ammunitions, those that have weapons, maiming, killing, raping, doing all manner of evil to your own people. Because, truth be told, the vast majority of the victims of this madness, it is nothing but absolutely madness. The vast majority of the victims of this madness are the same people, their own people. Remember when Kadira, I don't know, I think Kadira has run away and I think she's now in exile or somewhere. Remember when she was protesting, they were saying that they gave you their vote. Actually, I think I have that video somewhere, so that she will put context to what I'm trying to say here. Let me play that video. Kadira?
At the moment, the killings that are taking place in Zamfara are more than the killings taking place in Borno, more than the killings taking place in Adamawa and Yobe. These are states that are officially at war. Every day, we bury between 30, 40, 50 people. When we are not burying people, we are selling everything we own to pay kidnappers 15, 20 million. Mr. President has not done well for the people of Zamfara. The people of Zamfara love Mr. President. The people of Zamfara came out in 2015 to vote for Mr. President. Despite their hardship, they came out again in numbers in the just concluded elections to vote for Mr. President. Why is Mr. President treating the people of Zamfara as if they are not citizens of Nigeria, deserving of security, deserving to live in their houses and sleep well? Why? This is why we are here today. We demand that Zamfara is made secure. We demand that Mr. President acts like the chief commander-in-chief that he is of the armed forces of Nigeria. All these soldiers here should not be guarding one man. They should be in Zamfara, fighting kidnappers and rustlers and the armed bandits that are killing our mothers, our fathers, and our sisters. That is what we demand. We don't really care if Mr. President is distributing 10,000 naira, if he's giving people trader money, if he's giving people money. If there is no life, there is no business. You need to understand, his first job is to provide security in this country. At the moment, he is not providing it. The leaders in the north have let us down. We don't have leaders. All the northern governors put together are not talking about the fact that the north has gone to the dogs. So we the people have decided to take our lives into our hands and come and protest. And we will keep protesting until something is done. Because enough is enough.
So you listen to this, and that is the problem I have. Yes, very vivacious, very angry, very articulate, saying the things that she says, and well, of course I do understand how she feels, and I feel for her anyway. But the challenge is, in the midst of this madness and these killings and this everything happening, if you have another election now, today, being Christmas Day, and have Buhari on the ballot paper, they will vote for him. They will return him. They will even kill you. And Sai Baba Kai, Sai Baba, I will return, I will come. Then you ask yourself, are they really ready for change? Because if you're not, like Einstein said, it is a clear case of insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you expect that you will have change. How would you get change? On the other hand, some of them are saying he should resign. Even one, I think in in one of the shows, the question was asked: is Nigeria working? Is Nigeria working? Again, you be the judge. If Nigeria is working,
I'm asking a very pertinent question: is Nigeria working for you? Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, knew the solutions to Boko Haram till he finally became president. He asked ex-President Jonathan to resign because of insecurity. He cried empathetically. He promised to end Boko Haram in 3 months. But now, he's telling us he's done his best to arm the military. Why isn't he resigning? Governor Fashola knew the solutions to providing stable power supply till he became Minister of Power, and darkness pervaded the land. After trying hard and giving excuses like he only plays a supervisory role, the ministry was assigned to someone else. Power grid, still they collapse. The NSAS protests were tagged insurrection. In fact, someone said Aisha Yusufu ought to be in jail for instigating violence. Then farmers were beheaded in Borno. Same person asked Aisha Yusufu to lead a protest. Aren't these people supposed to forbid hypocrisy? Is Nigeria working for any Nigerian today? From leaders hoarding food for the poor, receiving kickbacks from government contracts, to farmers needing permission to go to their farms. Is Nigeria working for you? Why is Zamfara's gold for Zamfara and Niger Delta oil for Nigeria? Why is Hisba destroying alcohol, but their state governments receive federal allocation from monies received via taxation, including tax on alcoholic beverages? Why are some federal roads abandoned to bandits and kidnappers? Who is in charge of Nigeria's security? The president is talking tough this time. Most times, he's as shocked by the rest of us by the absence of good governance under him. Regardless of his campaign promises and the manifesto of his political party, Nigeria has rolled back in terms of development. From Naira continually losing its value to our recently launched locomotive trains breaking down in the middle of nowhere. Nigeria has to be working for some people though. The government can do no wrong. To this set of people, their money isn't being stolen, even if the money is being borrowed, leaving debts for their own children to pay in future. Even if the leaders don't use public institutions from sending their children to Ivy League schools abroad to getting medical treatment abroad. Some people who have nothing, and we need to donate money for their medical bills if they have a serious ailment, continue to hail the obvious lack of good governance till Nigeria happens to them. Then they get a little pissed. May Nigeria never happen to you. Say amen. We deserve better than the political class who go home with millions monthly to represent people who can't even afford to feed themselves. I am Olajumoke Alaode James.
Now, Nigeria is not working, and it's become a tragedy. Just like she said, for people to say, "May Nigeria never happen to you," so it's become a confirmation that Nigeria, it's something terrible. Somebody said, "May Nigeria never happen to you," and another person said, "To Fiakwa, may it happen to you." It's just like saying, "May trailer jam you there." Suddenly, you just say, "Man." Normally, I tell people, if you're in Nigeria and they say, "May America happen to you," won't you just grab it? "Hey, man, no, I'll go for testimony. May Germany happen to you." It shows you how back. I don't even know the right adjective to use. It shows you how unfunctional that place is. That when someone says, "May Nigeria happen to you," it was like, "To Fiakwa." Please, all of you watching me with your data, home and abroad, I pray, may Nigeria never happen to you. You watching me, may Oduduwa nation, may Igbo nation happen to you. And I say, where is my offer? Cook myself. Huh? Where is my offer? Sorry. Let me get my may Nigeria happen to me. My Nigeria happen to me. Olo. Nigeria will never happen. But may Igbo nation happen to me. He say, because that is who we are. We are Ndibo, the ancient people. We were before the white man came. We were before anything else came. That's why that is our language, that is our culture, that is our everything about us is Igbo. IGBO. Anyị bụ ndị Igbo. Ndị Igbo, the ancient people. If you tell me, may Igbo happen to me, I will say, but if I tell you, may it happen to you, I know you'll probably be looking for me and want to deal with me, isn't it? So anyone that agrees, may Igbo happen to you, he say, if you may it, may Nigeria. I wouldn't say may Nigeria happen to you. May Nigeria never happen to us. Yes, sir, may Nigeria never happen to us. But it shows you the tragedy of what we are saying. That's the tragedy of not having a functional system where virtually nothing works. And everyone will say, can't we get back to? And I see someone saying, why can't our reps move a motion to go for a beer exit or referendum? I can't say that enough. You cannot plant cocoyam and want to go and harvest pawpaw. The crop of people you have now will never, and they can never, demand or request for such referendum for the very simple reason they had spent their money, billions, to get into the position that they occupy today, be it in the House of Assembly, be it in the Senate, and they will not cede to receive their whatever that is agreeable to them just because you wish that they will. But if you had elected them on that principle, on that idea of going there to demand for referendum for you, then you can hold them to account. But you have nothing on them. I have my first caller here. Good evening. You're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke live. You're speaking to Njenje Media, Maazi Ezeoke live here. Yeah.
Good evening.
Go ahead. Everybody's listening to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
I want to appreciate you for the good work you are doing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. My contribution this evening is a simple one. You see, we will not continue to deceive ourselves about the country called Nigeria. Nigeria is never a country and it will never be. It's now a nation and it will never be. Because when you look at everything that is happening in Nigeria today, you begin to ask yourself, where are we going to start to begin to amend or begin to fight for this change? Nigeria is 60 years. Are you going to talk about the tribal card they play in everything? Are you going to talk about the religious aspect of it, that they have refused to separate governance from religion or religion from governance? Nigerian problem is a very, very
Okay, my brother, I don't know where you're calling from. +971, I believe that will be one of the Asian countries. But suddenly, your telephone is behaving as if you're in Nigeria. Are you in Nigeria?
He said?
Your telephone is behaving as if you're calling from Nigeria.
I am not in Nigeria. Maybe it's my network.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes, go ahead. Round up, please.
All right. So what I am saying, it is a hard time. Like what you are just saying, when you tell people, let something like Nigeria happen today, they will respond by saying no, it will never. You see, what we need to do, especially those of us that came from the East, is a hard time all of us come together and support Maazi Nnamdi Kanu. Enough is enough. Let's fight for ourselves and get ourselves out of that country called Nigeria. That is just what I want to tell us, because if we continue to believe that Nigeria is going to change, it's a lie. How old am I? Since I was born till this day, that is what I've been hearing. Nigeria will be better. Never better. And very soon I am going to die and my children will take over the suffering. And we will continue to tell them that Nigeria will be better. So my brother, that's all I have to say. It is a hard time. We'll come together, everybody. This one Nigerian stuff, let's just tell ourselves truth. It's not working and it will never work.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You see, one thing I have come to notice is it is easier for many people to say we're still talking about one Nigeria, or that you are one Nigerianist. The challenge is that we are all in a broken car. We all want to get away and get to our destination. Some are saying, can we push the car to the nearest garage? Some are saying, can we call a mechanic to come here and fix it? Now, whether you're saying call the mechanic to come, push it to the nearest garage, get a towing vehicle to tow it, however you want to do it, you all want the same thing. You want to get to your destination. because the current car you are using is kaput. Now, because someone is saying, can we push it? The other is saying, can we call recovery? And the other one is saying, can we call the mechanic to come to the direction? None of you should be, no, the three people, none should be calling each other name, because at the end of the day, they all want to get out of the current situation where they are. Each of those three propositions could work. I use that word carefully, could work, because they all want the same thing. Now, they could come up with a fourth option if they all put heads together. Hence, my approach and what we do on this channel is not to antagonize anyone. Those of you who want to be, you love your Nigeria, you want to be in Nigeria, fine. I mean, I don't begrudge you. But people like me, mentally, I have already ceded away. I have moved away from Nigeria. You understand? Mentally. I know many times I tell people, it's been, probably next year will be, because I want to go to Lagos, for instance. Next year will be consciously the only time I will set my foot into Lagos in the last 80 years. Why? Because for about 8 years now, I have decided not by force, because I said, I don't have anything to do here. It's not that I don't like my people from Lagos State or the people of Southwest. No. But if I decide to develop this place, call this place mine, pamper it, do everything, and this place becomes my world, then let this place become my world. If you want to come, you come the same way I come to you. Now, it brings me to the point that if the government is not wanting to restructure the place, what is stopping you and I, from restructuring our place? That imagination we had, we will. I remember talking to a friend of mine in Hanover in 2005. When I came in, I was jogging, I saw how the school in my community looked like, where they threw bomb. And I said, I mean, this is absurd. These schools must be fixed. They said, forget it. Are you the only person that have seen it? But no, it's not. I'm not the only person, but it is sad, because we want our children not to turn out to be kidnappers. When I say our children, not the ones we bore, but at least any child that is within the community is considered your child. We do not want them to turn out to be kidnappers, yet we want to ignore where they go to school. So what did I do? Rather than complain at that moment in time, I mobilized and get to work and got those schools repaired. Let me see if I can actually find the video. What you can now watch out and watch the statement the governor of my state made in that, the day he came for that. But let me quickly take another call from, this is Switzerland, I believe, +41. So hello, you're speaking to Njenje Media TV.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Schönen guten Abend.
Ja, grüß Sie wohl.
Yeah, grüß dich auch. Grüß Gott.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a chief of them. And thank you so much for picking up my call. I live here in Bern, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an IPUB has call.
Okay.
I appreciate all your needs, but sometimes you don't actually go from my own perspective the way I believe a personality of your type should go, right?
No, you can't.
But
We
anyway,
can't. Sorry, you can't. I cannot go the way you want me to go. Neither would I. Neither would you go the way I want you to go. We all have our own what we believe in, and that's the way I view life.
you are perfectly right. But there is a caller that a previous caller said something very, very important. That
the only way out is for all of us to try to reason towards one direction so that we can achieve the ultimate goal. And what do I mean by achieving an ultimate goal? Is for us to have a home state, because that is the only solution to all our integration and all our predicaments. So now, why I said you don't go somehow to the direction I believe you should be going, it's not that I'm demeaning your actions or your efforts. No, not at all. But I understand that in our precarious situation of today, that we are, I might put it, practically homeless. We have no home. Now I'm in Bern, Switzerland. I'm just here with my wife and children. Nowhere to go. Nothing. It is just like a dry burial ground. And I believe you too, wherever you are, I believe you are in Germany. So the only way we can get ourselves right, it does not matter any qualification we have attained here. There is no way you and me feel that we have attained our ultimate goal or attain our God-given place in this earth. There is no way. So let me rush because of other people to come. What I mean by going into one direction is, now it is very, very obvious that Nigeria is not working, that the people in the seat of power never wishes you well. They don't even have it in them for us to grow. So what do? Now we have a very formidable leader, an enigma, a fearless human being, endowed with the highest intelligence I believe a black man has never gotten. So my question to somebody like you, I've been following you for ages now, and you've been bringing some notable individuals in your program. I admire you and admire all your efforts, and I wish you continue that way. But I'm not trying to change your perspective, but what I'm trying to say is let us go on a workable platform. A workable platform, I mean, is let us channel all our energy, all our voices to support this man, because he has shown us that he is able, he is competent. He has
Hold on, then let me. I think I've given you enough time to have made your point. Now the question is, so in your estimation, your point you're making is that everybody will join should join IPOB.
No.
So what is it? Can you make your point then?
Okay. My point is, I read your word. You mentioned something like Igbo nation.
Yes.
Now, that Igbo nation is some sort, you want to diminish yourself or what? That is also a question. Do you want to diminish yourself?
Why would I?
Okay.
Why would I? Hold on. Why would you ever think so? Do you know? Hold on. Do you know where Igbo nation starts and ends? And why would that be in any form of diminution?
Now, I'm not accusing you, but that is just a rhetorical question. That's what I meant. No, I'm not diminishing you. Bringing that Igbo nation for people who are not vast enough might I say, stand it as 5 eastern states. Do you understand where the problem lies?
Okay. Now, I think one thing you probably are obviously missing here is, I'll put it this following. Now, for someone to say that we want, or he or she wants, an Igbo nation, that's my first choice. The same way someone in the Yoruba nation will say, I want an Oduduwa nation, right? Now, what is it, the state? If someone asks you now, if you remove Nigeria, let's say we wake up tomorrow, there is no Nigeria, what are you?
I'm more comfortable.
No, not what you're comfortable with. Before the British came, if we remove Nigeria today, there is no Nigeria, what are you?
let me tell you one thing. Before
you're not answering my question, please.
No,
you're not answering my question.
I'm Igbo, but we must also
Exactly.
go back.
No. Hold on. You are Igbo.
Exactly.
Now, and I say to you, my dream is to have an Igbo nation. What you have not asked, which I'd expected you to do, is why the Igbo nation and not the other way around? It's something you should have asked. So why the Igbo nation? Do you understand? Why the Igbo nation? Because let me tell you one thing. I did not wake up and decide that I want an Igbo nation. It has been an engagement that have lasted for over 10 years. And when I say engagement, I do not want to, it's not about boasting about it. I have engaged people outside the Igbo nation. I know what they think. I know the perceptions. And when I say the Igbo nation is a nation that we will have less bickering, because the way Germans are today, do you know why the Germans are so prosperous? Do you know why they do not, you don't need to know, you don't need to ask who is a German, because what they speak one language. No language is imposed on them. Now, when you had Austria-Hungary before this First World War, right, that they had different languages, you saw what it led to. Switzerland had to develop where you are today, had to develop a specific system to accommodate the language differences that they have, right?
Maazi, I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because I know you will cut me off because other people are cut. I just want to make that point now. You've brought Switzerland right here, right now. And let me tell you, have you read the IPOB manifesto on how we intend Biafra to be?
There is nothing, I believe, that is written in that. Hold on. No. There is nothing that is, I believe, is written in that regards that I have not read, and most times even co-authored.
And now, do you know why Maazi Nnamdi Kanu brought ESN? Why did he use that acronym? Do you realize the reason, the need for that name? Do you understand why that name is ESN, not BSN?
My brother, it's that particular conversation. I think I will leave it for another day.
Exactly. You know why I'm saying? Just give me 1 second. We need to bring all of us living in that geographical space together, extricate ourselves first from Nigeria, and then determine how we can carry on along. With that, I thank you very much for picking up my call and this warm heart Christmas conversation. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Happy Christmas to you as well.
Same to you.
Thank you. Hello, who am I speaking to? You're onto Njenje Media TV. Okay, the call dropped. So what I was saying, in essence, is that hold on, let me pick this call again. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. Good evening. I'm Ike. I'm Gabriel. You can call me Gabriel. Ike. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you. Put off the device you're listening with. If not, we'll take another call.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly now.
Can you make your comments quickly? 1 minute, please.
Okay.
Have others calling.
I know you have other people. I just want to contribute on what the last caller was trying to talk to you about. Listen, the problem here is that we Igbos, we Africans, we don't have one single goal. We're all diverse and working in different paths and different ways. And this has been our weak point. And that's why they are using it against us all the time. I know you are where you are, you're comfortable. But sometimes let's try to think about others and say, these people, they are not comfortable. And that should be our worries. And that's why this country, why you're comfortable in the country where you are right now, is because someone sit down and think, my people has to be comfortable. That's why you are the way you are now. So if we can't sacrifice that thing as Nnamdi Kanu is doing it, if we can't come together, Igbos, tell our fucking leaders that is enough. We don't want your stupid view anymore. We need to know what's happening and we need to know how to solve them. Then we can never have a peaceful Biafran land, neither a peaceful Africa.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello. Can you put off the device you're listening with, please?
Okay, sure. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, Njenje Media. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, my brother. How are you?
I'm very fine. My name is Maazi Ezeoke, calling you from Athens, Greece.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've been following your program for a very long time. Watched a lot, and I just came in now and I saw your live. I started following from the last caller from Switzerland. And I just want to chip in a little thing.
Go ahead. You have 1 minute, please.
Yeah. Okay, 1 minute. Wow, it's a very short time. So about the Igbo nation and Biafra at large, this is one side, this is one point that I've always talked about. I've discussed it with our people, even some other persons. For we to achieve what we are looking for, the best thing is to do what? To talk more about Igbo nation. Because Biafra, you tell me that Biafra starts from Igara land up to Ijo and all that. Yes, we might have a similar culture with these people, might have some similarities, but these similarities, how do we, all the while, how have we been able to, come together as one people? Do we really accept each other as one? Somebody from Igala land whose name and the Igbo man's name from the east practically is the same thing, just language. But because you speak Igbo and he speaks Igala, he don't accept you as one person. So how are we going to be one in Biafra?
No.
Why not the 5 southeastern states come together and say, yes, we are fighting for what? Igbo nation. And at the end of the day, we achieve it. If any other person, if they want to stay in Nigeria, they can stay. Let's fight and get our own nation as Igbo people. You understand? Because even the 5 southeastern states, you see a Enugu person telling Anambra, or Anambra person telling Enugu, you are not real Igbo. Even within Enugu, who the person telling Nsukka person that you are not real Igbo. You understand? Let's see how we can get unity within our 5 southeastern states and move on.
Okay.
Bringing everybody together and holding us down.
Sorry, let me, before you drop, let me make the clarification here.
Okay.
Now, I give an analogy of, I don't know if you had that before you joined. I give an analogy of someone using 3 people in a car and the car broke down. One of them says, let us call a mechanic. The other one says, let us push the car to the garage. And one says, let us call a towing vehicle to come and tow the vehicle away from there. 3 of them, none of them is wrong.
It's agreeing. Okay, none is wrong. Yeah.
None is wrong. And they're all wanting the same thing. The car is broken down. That's a given. The car is Nigeria, right? Now,
exactly.
The next in is they all want to get out of there. But how would they do it? Do they have to call the mechanic first to take away the car? Do they have to call the recovery to come in and take away the car? Or can they push the car to the garage? So either way, something must happen. They must move from point A to point B. It would be foolish of any of them to be antagonizing the other, saying your proposition is not correct, your proposition is wrong. I hope with that, my point is well made. Yeah, hello, you're speaking to Hello? Yeah, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke here.
Yes, yeah, my name is Biafra. I'm calling you from the US.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I've been watching, some of the things you've been organizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening to a whole lot of people who have been calling today.
Mm.
You can see the level of disenfranchisement from the Igbo people. I am of the opinion that with this your medium, you might be able to have a coalition, because there seems to be a disconnect between the political leadership and the generality of mostly Igbo-speaking people from the southeast. And why am I saying this? Because generally, this agitation which you've been seeing, which have built up over time, is really, really, really deep, and is as a result of the misdeeds of the Nigerian state against the Igbo people. Apparently, any Igbo man, wherever, really, even if they don't support generally the mood of the agitation of these people, still have sympathy somewhere for them. But I would not want, as a student of history, I would not want what happened, like 50 years ago to repeat itself, because you can always see, the aggression with which the polity comes to bear on any issue regarding any agitation from that southeast. I would really, really, really suggest that if this your medium will be an what do I call it now, a medium of reproach or outreach, why don't we? It's better we fight from. It will sound nice if we fight from within than from without. Because when you're fighting from without, you're seen as a total enemy. Is there any way of probably you reaching out, or maybe tuning the discussion to the point where we'll get our brothers generally? I think they have the number and they have the sympathy. We can, as we are, without shooting. Democracy is fight without shooting a gun.
Now, let me.
They have the point. They can coalesce and seize power from these people.
Now, let me tell you one thing. Because obviously, what I do, no one pays me. I do it because I like doing it. I do it without passion and without apology, because one, I am first an Igbo man without apology. If you have never seen one who is proudly Igbo without a single apology, that's me. Having said that, we must, there is a, sometimes most of, or rather, the main reason sometimes I leave what I do to engage and do these live programs is to get us somewhere, be it from the part of the intellectuals or trying to engage with the street. Something must happen. The house must marry the street. It's a must.
Yes.
If it doesn't happen, the street may not have the capacity to hold the house. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Clearly I do.
Because many people watching, and some people, when I read comments, I can see that some people do not have grasp of language and words. You might want me to be breaking it down like, no, I can't. Because, as Chinua Achebe said, proverb is the, with which words are eaten.
Yes. The words are eaten, yes.
So what I'm trying to tell us is that there must be a synergy between the top echelon and the middle class and the lower class. Someone must bridge that gap. You know, someone must
and you're doing it partially in a way you are.
Of course, that is the whole point. The whole point is that there must be a point of convergence.
Yes.
There must be a point of convergence. Without that, you have no. Listen, you know, there is something that you push it somehow. You might have a case of lunatics having taken over the asylum. That cannot be allowed to happen. However,
that's right.
However, the colonization of our common patrimony by the elite, it's something that if the Hausa, Fulani, Kenuri, Yoruba nation, if they allow that to happen, we in Igbo nation must not allow it to happen because we are different people. We cannot allow it to happen. The other day, I asked a question about Hope Uzodimma. When people were complaining, I said, is Buhari stopping Hope Uzodimma from doing the needful in Imo State? Is Buhari stopping Okezi Ikpeazu from fixing Aba, his own native land? So sometimes while we are angry to Abuja, we must as well be angry to ourselves. Because
do you know that this thing you just posed now, you answered it initially in where you said that these people pay their way to get into office. So
no, of course.
So they are not answerable to anybody. That's why once they go in there, they have the police.
But we can change it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That was the point because I know I have a limited time to talk here. That was the point I wanted to raise before you interject.
Yeah, but we can change it, and we can change. Listen, we can change this. It's actually a very simplistic thing to do. We need to agree on one thing, right? To change it, yes. We agree on one thing. You calling now, if it's a no to you're going to swear, I don't bloody care. I'll give us an example because these analogies are very simple. To win an election in Anambra State, you need about 200,000 votes. Yet Anambra has about 2.4 million registered voters. That means any man who mobilizes 500,000 votes will beat whoever the establishment wants and beat him silly and win the election.
But the agitators don't have the card to
no,
vote. That's the problem.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No. Okay, please tread carefully. You said the agitators don't have. Every one of us is an agitator because you know what? As long as you do not agree with what the system does to you, you are an agitator. However, the missing point is probably we have not been able to convince them that there is an alternative. Because the challenge I see, and it hurts me most times when I say that, is that we have resigned our fate to an utopic nation that when it comes, everything will be an El Dorado. And I say to my people, nations are not built in that way. Fantasies are good in order to mobilize people, but the realism is a lot of work goes into nation building. Hence, most times I show the video of M.I. Obara because that's a man who understood that there are limited times to do things, and he went to work. Immediately he took over. Until today, we saw his legacies, even when all his legacies has been destroyed by these same cucumbers and carrots that parade themselves today in convoys as leaders. Thank you very much, my brother, for your call.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Can you please turn off the device you're listening with, or you move away from there? Thank you.
Oh, is it interfering?
Yes.
Can you still hear it?
Okay, go ahead now. You're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke.
Hey, Maazi Ezeoke, how are you?
I'm all right, and you? What's happened? Go ahead. Okay.
Yes. According to your topic tonight, should Buhari resign?
Yes.
That one is overdue. I mean, the man is beyond incompetent. It's only in a place like we have it in Africa or Nigeria that people will still be writing about someone like that. They cannot articulate even 5 words or 5 sentences, still in power. I mean,
the man is a calamity.
It's just beyond. Thinking about it actually gets you annoyed.
Sick. It makes you sick.
It makes you want to go mad. Where such thing can happen in the world, where a man just sit like a dead corpse in a place and do nothing, and everything is collapsing around him. It's like one of those sayings in English that it's like a man, where his house is burning and he's using the fire to make cup of tea. He just go there and uses the fire that from his house to make cup of tea to drink. That's what the man is like, because the man is not doing anything. He just sits there. Too hard for him to articulate anything. He cannot articulate anything. Just sit there and use to pick his teeth. And people are just leaving him there and as if everybody is sort of nonchalantly. This is a child's play. People's lives don't matter. This is the height of. I can't even. Words have failed me. To be able to describe this state of affair, because you don't see it anywhere else in the world. Where have you seen such state of affair of a country, of a head of state just nonchalantly? Look at his interview the other day when he turned. I don't know how old he turned. He gave one stupid interview. He cannot even say anything. There's no motivation. There's nothing. Everything is bland. Everything is empty. Everything is dark. Everything is broken down. I mean, even in his own village, people are being kidnapped daily. Children are being kidnapped and murdered, and he's not doing anything about it. So, I mean, that conversation should be really out of the question. The man should be thrown out. I mean, I don't know why we have houses of assembly like the Senate.
But the challenge is
talking about speaking long language and not doing anything also.
Yeah, but the challenge here, my brother, is that you have the same people who will tell you that he needs to go. These are the people that he is misgoverning. When it comes to the point of saying he should go, they'll be the one to turn out and turn back and say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Because you take, for instance, the NSAS protest, a protest that was meant to even reform the police, give them fairer package. But the same people you are fighting for will turn around and say what you're demanding is regime change. For Christ's sake, how does 5 on 5 turn into a regime change? You think to yourself, I mean, from which planet are these people from?
There is something called a vote of no confidence.
Oh,
that
dear.
Is not a queue. That is not a queue. That is a normal state of affairs.
3 years ago, Senator Onyine Abaribe called for the resignation of the president. He was nearly verbally lynched. And today, everyone is seeing it. And you know what? Now let us play the game of reverse psychology. The president is doing fantastically well. So I honestly will love him. He should continue to 2027. That's me. He should continue. Maybe at some point, our brain will probably get reset. He's doing fantastically well. Thank you very much for your comment.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to say something with regards to what people are talking about with regards to Biafra and Igbo land in terms of the way forward. Obviously, I mean, there is a change, and I understand where you're coming from, because Nigeria is a very complex place. It's a very complex country, and I think the idea is that you're preferring regards to us as a people thinking diplomatically, because nothing can be achieved by force. The way other people are sort of, okay, we must fight for it. We must, take up arms and then start killing each other and then see what happens at the end of it. That obviously wouldn't work, because we've tried it before. It didn't work. All over the world that it's been tried, they still have to go back to negotiate these things. diplomatically, they have to still, everything has to be negotiated. I don't know why our people are really abstaining from, thinking seriously, thinking diplomatically, thinking like statement. I mean, our people are just become like, I don't know.
Let me give you one secret. Let me give you one secret. One thing people don't know is I speak to everyone. When I say I speak to everyone, I speak to everyone. So most of the things people say based on the things they've had, and they didn't probably understand the deeper rooted issues that are rooted to it. When some of the leaders, or when they understand the thinking of some of the leaders, right, as regards to the proposition that I made, they will know why our leaders and our elders say, if I want to get 1/3 of what is due for me, I will start by demanding for the whole piece. Then in negotiation. But if you understand that is on negotiation. But if you want to be realistic with reality of things, having engaged other regions, the solution to Nigerian madness is called Southern Nigeria. The solution, I repeat, the solution to Nigerian madness is Southern Nigeria. That is what cannot be broken, what cannot be challenged, and what cannot be fought for. Either way, if it comes down that the Southern Nigeria eventually goes into 4 places, 3 places, 2 places, it is irrelevant. But if you want to extract from the jaw of a big crocodile, Southern Nigeria is the solution. I hope that makes sense to what I'm saying.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense, because I mean, there's no other way. I mean, I think Nia Modo is advocating for similar thing that you're just saying. Every thinking person actually is
that is the key to the strategy. And those that understand,
that is what I'm thinking of, because there's always losing hope.
No, those that understand strategy understand what I just said. Those
I
that
mean, what you said is the most reasonable thing that any thinking person can go with, and it's like you said, it's achievable. I don't see a reason why it couldn't. It is. I mean, it's much. It's just that people are not,
my dear,
are not seeing it.
It is, and when it gets to that point, when it gets, a lot of sensitization is going on, a lot of conversation is happening at the background. When it gets,
I know you're there.
When it gets to that point,
I know you're there. Try to do your bit, but I think more needs to be done in terms of getting our people cleared up politically to start thinking.
Exactly.
Okay, let us equip ourselves. Let us equip ourselves and deal with our things politically.
Yes, there are things. There are things, like I said, there are things.
It's madness.
There are things I say we can actually do for ourselves, right? Antonio Nahoro moved the motion for Nigerian independence, not from the bedroom of his house. He was in the parliament. And he didn't just come to parliament. These were the things he campaigned with.
Yes.
Now, tell me, in 2019, tell me one single person that campaigned on self-determination and won an election. Not one.
No one, no.
However, in Anambra State, we had Chudi Ofodile and we had Osita Chidoka. The party UPP had self-determination and referendum in their manifesto, and they spoke about it.
Yes.
On the party primaries, Osita Chidoka won Chudi Ofodile. Osita Chidoka failed woefully.
Yes.
The whole idea died. The question is, if Osita Chidoka had won that election, do you not think that the conversation of self-determination by virtue of those who must have won with the party to the National Assembly. Yes, it will be defeated. After all, when Inahoro moved the motion, it was not acted upon immediately. But at least it would have been there.
It's true.
It would have been there. So it's a starting point. I don't know. My problem and my anger in most cases are there are things we can do for ourselves.
Yes.
But we'll leave them and we're shouting.
And we're shouting. I don't know.
Even Chona Sokoto did not Shokoto. In our around. Listen, we have the opportunity. We have the opportunity to actually colonize the whole houses of assembly.
Yes.
You run away from politics. You don't know that new nation requires politics. Thank you very much. I have others waiting on the line. Thank you very much, my brother. Yeah, hello. Good. You're welcome. Hello. Yes, you are on echo. Can you please put off any device you're using to listen to me, please?
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go. You are live now. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. This is Omekania.
Yes, Omekania. How you doing?
I'm fine, my brother, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for you and your lovely family.
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother.
You're still live, isn't it?
Yes, go ahead. You're live. You're making your contribution live. The whole world is hearing you.
Yeah, what I want to say, based on what I heard last before the whole thing froze up, talking about Buhari's...
So before the whole thing froze up. Yeah.
Talking about Buhari's resignation. The fact is this. This Lai Mohammed came up publicly and said that since Buhari attended that hospital in London and did the operation, that operation touched his brain. People are forgetting these things. The operation touched his brain.
Oh, dear.
That even made him lost his ability to speak his...
Sorry, when did Lama...
It's online, it's on YouTube.
Really, Lai Mohammed said that himself, that the operation...
The operation touched his brain. And that explains the reason why the clubhouse are running riot and they're ruling the country because Buhari is no more in power.
Okay.
He's just a puppet. He's just a puppet head of state. So that is why even everything happening around him, he doesn't know. He has no clue what is happening around him. And even if you see his body language, you will realize that this man is no more there. So let us just either we support Nnamdi Kanu or support the agitation or support every other person that is championing the same goal of our freedom. That is just my concern. Because what the Igbos are going through in Nigeria is unacceptable anymore. It's unacceptable. So whichever way we get our freedom, because I know fully well that they can't even, nobody can hand you freedom on it.
No, freedom is never done that way.
That is the point.
It's never, you're correct. It's never done that way.
So whichever way we get our freedom, everybody should just focus on that freedom.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think the best thing to happen, like I told the previous caller, is that Southern unity will be, in my estimation, the best thing that will happen. So that we have a united front, because you hear them all you hear is that after the NSAS, the Northern Governors Forum, or the Northern Governors had a meeting. But you never hear anything like the Southern Governors or the Southern people met, right? So it's the starting point will be to have an equal force to match the other side. so that we put something on the table. This is confederation that, you know, you have either you have the old Eastern region come back. If some people say they can no longer be within the old Eastern region, that is going to be only Southeast or South-South, however the nomenclature. But again, our people watching, we should not be hung on whichever nomenclature. It's irrelevant. Whatever, the only relevant thing is that Nigeria is not working, is killing all of us. That is the relevant thing, that we must find a way to either you bukashialia, you know, or you find a way that you restructure it in a way that it gives you breathing space. That brings you back to 1963 Constitution.
That is the point.
So that is the whole point. But sometimes we are hung on Biafra or nothing, Ojukwu or nothing, so the whole thing, the convolution becomes emotional, not strategic and thinking. That's my honest view.
Anything that will give us freedom.
Exactly.
Because whatever we are going through now, nobody will envisage his children to go through it in future.
You are talking. Listen, what we have now are the Amajiris we trained about 10, 15 years ago. The 40 million that we are training that will probably graduate within the next 3 to 10 years. So where are they going to go?
That is the problem.
So anyone thinking that Nigerian problem it's going to be so, it's now Nigerian problem is actually doing press up in the gym. It's getting ready.
Definitely.
Because by the time it will now have some muscles, some abwobi, and now comes out properly.
We'll be in trouble.
Which trouble? We'll be in pepper soup with Cameroonian pepper.
My brother, I love what you are doing. Just get on with the job, and God give you the strength and
no worries, Mandem. Thank you very much.
And give you the wisdom to channel what you are doing. We are solidly behind you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mandem. So I think hold on. I think what's it called? Today now. Wow. Hello, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke. Hello, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke. You're live.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke. You're live.
Yeah, so how are you?
I'm all right, and you?
I'm fine. Happy Christmas.
The same to you, my brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. A caller called a few minutes ago, and he said something about the 5 eastern states, that we should only fight for the 5 eastern states to become a Biafra nation. I was really against it.
No. He didn't say Biafra nation. He said Igbo nation. So we must make that distinction. There is a clear distinction between Igbo nation and Biafra. Okay. So when you talk about Igbo as of today officially has 7 states, or rather are found in 7 states officially. Now there are states that are still yet to be made official. Ohanese and Igbo, for instance, have the 5 eastern states, Rivers and Delta, making it 7 because they can produce Ohanese presidents. But if you go to Edo and you go to Kogi, there are some, areas that you still have in Igbo. So what he was saying is, if it's going to cause confusion, we can start with the 5 eastern states. Let's say, for instance, the 5 eastern states is a nation of its own. They can now, as a nation, approach the United Nations saying, I have my brothers across this river and I want them to join. All you need is to do a referendum, and they can have the right to say no, that they don't want to. And that's one thing we must also bear in mind, because the same thing, we must not make the same mistake to treat others the way Nigeria have been treating us. People must be allowed to make their choice. If they want to, of course, yes. If they don't want to, of course, they stay on their own. So go ahead and make your contribution. That's just want to make that clarification.
Yeah, no problem, because thanks a lot for the information, because my mom is from Iselukwas, from Delta State. So I don't really know. And in Delta State, we have a lot of Igbo speakings, like the Kwales, the Abos, Umunede, and so far. They are all Igbos. Even in River State, I lived in Port Harcourt before for a long time. You know, the Ikweres, they are all Igbos. The Opobos and rest. Even in Bayelsa State as well, in Cross River, Akwa Ibom. According to our leader, Maazi Ezeoke, I always support his word, because he said right from Kogi, Benue, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, Bayelsa, we are all Biafra, so we can never leave any of them behind. We are all brothers. So that's
it's
what
not,
I'm trying to.
again, it's not about living. You see, we must be different. We must be different from what the Nigerians are doing, or rather, what the way the current system. The only thing is that you can make a case for people when they go to plebiscite or when they go to referendum to say, okay, I want to. For instance, I want a situation whereby, and that's one thing I've advocated, and eventually El-Rufai put it in their El-Rufai committee report, which is, if Uguta no longer wants to be part of Imo, Uguta should conduct a referendum. If it's 75% of all the adults in Uguta says Uguta should belong to River State, let it be. That is right. If Amansi wants to cede to Enugu after they have conducted with a clear written law and guidance to say, if you decide you no longer, because Anyamelu can decide that they want to go to Kogi, or that Eda in Kogi might want to be part of Anambra State, so be it. But there must be guideline on how they can do that. And they can do that peacefully. Because the challenge we have today is anyone that says anything contrary, like the way you see NSAS, someone comes up and tells you, oh, we will do everything you say. He goes out inside the room, tells CBN to freeze your account. Tells the other one. So, I mean, it's entirely madness. So we cannot continue in that way. So when we talk about the Igbo nation, Igbo nation is actually, I'm liking the conversation this evening, because to prick the brain of our people to actually see if we understand the difference between the two, because they are very clear, distinct, differentiation between these two, and the approach to them is not the same. Anyway, thank you very much for your call.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the update. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, hello, good evening. You are speaking to Maazi Ezeoke. Okay, so I think you called, but probably because you waited for long, you no longer knew. Oh, Jesus Christ, so many calls. Okay, so like what I was saying, let me take some comments while some other people call. And okay, hold on. I have another caller. Yeah, hello.
Let me take some comments while.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good evening, Maazi Ezeoke.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Ndubisi Olelewe.
Okay, Ndubisi. Ndubisi, please, can you put off whatever device you're using? You're echoing on that. You're watching me.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me properly now?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, say Merry Christmas to you, and thanks for your program.
Thank you, my brother.
Like I said earlier, I like your look. You look great. You look very Igbo-ish. Yeah, I love it, yeah.
I'm Igbo, unapologetic Igbo. Thank you very much.
I know, I'm Igbo as well. I'm proud
Waiting remain now to marry the fourth wife.
Yeah, so that's our culture, but people don't know that. But let me I've been listening to the program. I appreciate everything you've been saying, and they call us as well. But you just said something that really touched me, and I actually buy into it. That is the Southern link. It's something we must look into very properly as well. And also want to add that when we talk about Igbo nation, whether you are in Kogi or you are in your state, you are in Kaduna state, as long as you speak Igbo, you are part of the Igbo nation, is it?
Yes, but if someone says he is not, we must be accommodating enough to say it's your choice.
Yeah, you're spot on. I agree with that. But as long as what I'm saying,
my clique is, as long as you speak Igbo, you are part and parcel of the Igbo nation. Then the question is, do you want to be part of it or not?
Exactly.
So
Well, it is assumed you are. It is assumed because if someone, let's say if someone, I don't know which analogy to use, but if someone says maybe, you know, in a different country, and I think Britain's got Gibraltar, for instance.
Yeah,
if the reason why Britain still retain them because the Gibraltar people agree that they are British.
Yeah.
But if they wake up tomorrow, say, lie, we are not British. Nothing. We burn your passport. Please don't ever call us British. There's nothing they will do.
Yeah, that's right.
It's as simple as that. There's nothing you can do. So that's because my ideology is actually that we must be fair, and I believe as adults when they make their choice. That's why sometimes in the year 2021, one thing many of us will see is a conversation that will go towards identifying the origins of Ndibo and the link between a chair and the queries. I will be inviting many of their elders, traditional rulers, like some of them, I will be meeting them this Christmas to arrange, these conversations, because we must begin to tell these stories. This is our story. We must own this story. And if someone says, I am XYZ, I am no longer Igbo because of XYZ, in as much as it will hurt me.
Sorry about that.
Sorry?
I said, just like Wike had told the world that it's not Igbo. So
exactly. So I cannot, but in the same inquiry, if Amechi says it's Igbo and Wike says it's not, for Christ's sake, I don't know why we should fight over it. Because remember, somebody who uses Nigerian passports goes into Turkey or goes into Germany or goes into America and decides that he wants to naturalize and become an American citizen and say he's no longer a Nigerian. Will you go to fight?
No.
So he doesn't. So he because you must have, for you to have a great people, you must have that allegiance. People must be willing and ready to die for what they believe in. If anything happens today, am I going to put my life for Nigeria? No. Wallah, I'm going to look the other side. But if anything happens to the Igbo nation today, I will not only put my life, I will put my second life in common. Because if I reincarnate 1 million times, I want to become Igbo 1 million times. Therefore, that already tells you the conviction that I have. So I am unapologetically Igbo. So in that sense, that's what I believe in. If somebody says, it doesn't mean that if my brother comes up tomorrow and say, no, I'm not Igbo, I want to answer Matthew Bushman or Matthew Steinsteiger, and I will go and stab him, that it's a choice, an adult, he can make his choice.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you very much. Let me pick this go. Thank you, my brother.
We'll get it, but like I said, this Southern link is a strong one. We must throw more light into it.
Well, the Southern, 2 years ago, I made a video on that, but many people, I think maybe they might have learned, because if they go there, they might regret the comments they made then. I said that the solution to it is Southern Nigeria. You know why? Southern Nigeria is the only thing that will be formidable enough for the other part not to overrun. Okay, so it will be big, because you need to fight a war. You think you need to fight something you think strategic, and it's not an impossibility to do, because they know it. That's why they are thwarting it. But we can do better.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, hello. Please, can you put off the device you're using? I can hear echo, please.
Okay. So
go ahead.
I'm already calling regarding of the conversation going on.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead. I can still hear the echo. Okay. So people, let me take some comments. I don't know. This Chinese ascription says, I am in Port Harcourt. Ikwere is Igbo. it was a result of abandoned property. We know the reason. I think you don't know. I wouldn't want to. I think your information is incorrect. Yeah, hello? Hello? Yeah, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke live.
Hello, is that Njenje Media?
Yes, you're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke live.
Okay.
Can you put off the device you're listening with? You can hear echo.
Okay. Yeah, already I've put it off. Yes, you're speaking to us. Okay. Can you put off the device you're listening with?
If you can't put it off, I'll take another call because I can hear echo. Yeah, hello. You're speaking to Maazi Ezeoke, please.
Yeah, good evening, Maazi Ezeoke. Good evening.
Yeah,
Merry
good evening.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, my brother.
Yeah, God bless you. Quickly, please, I want to correct some impressions about referendum. I think Maazi has made it clearly, repeatedly said it. I've been following him since 2013. That Biafra is calling for is on referendum. If regional nations decide not to come into Biafra, that is fine. If Ogoni decides not to come into Biafra, that is fine.
Sure.
If Ibanke, so he has made it clear. The IPOB is not forcing anybody to be a Biafran. That's why it's called referendum. So he has been mentioning referendum from day one. I don't understand where this impression is coming from. You don't force people into Biafra. Nobody is forcing people into Biafra. If you have been listening to Nnamdi Kanu since 2013-14, he has been saying referendum, and referendum means people's decision or people's choices. So this Nnamdi Kanu is forcing people into Biafra is a myth. It's wrong.
I think in the conversation, sorry, I don't know where you got that information, but in the conversation this evening, no one and none of the callers has made that assertion. The conversation and where the issue of referendum came in was when someone asked a question about the 5 eastern states having a nation of theirs, and that we had Igbos outside these 5 eastern states. And that was when the clarification I made that, of course, whoever is outside these areas will still be consulted if they want and what their decision. Now, you cannot lump people ab initio, do you understand, to a particular place. Of course, people should have the right to. So that's a given. I don't think anyone is saying that it's something that is predetermined. Okay, so that we get
generally because
no. I'm talking. Let's not talk generally here. Let's talk about the things being said on this platform. I don't know what others have said somewhere. I'm sticking to what we have said here, and the conversation this evening, this beautiful Christmas Sunday. Not Sunday, beautiful Christmas Friday. But it feels like Sunday because they've given me food now. So I've eaten food, so my belly is is coming out. That's a big
Christmas is, or every Christmas is like Sunday anyway. No, I'm not trying to accuse anybody, but I'm trying to just I said an impression, because people always say, this guy is forcing people, into this agitation. Maybe I'm using this, your platform to, people are listening.
I don't know. I believe everybody that is on this platform, any subscriber here, many people here, I believe are enlightened enough to know that no one will be. Again, I put it this way. If you want to make progress, you must first of all write down everything Nigeria is doing today. And you must swear an oath not to do them, because if you ever do any one of them, you can never make progress.
Yeah,
that is the whole point.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Because the nation, whether Igbo nation or Biafra nation we are talking about, is not going to be second Nigeria. That would be disastrous, because you cannot move from fire and enter into frying pan. It's not going to work out. Whether Igbo nation or Biafra nation, it must be clear. It must be a clear, different from Nigeria, because Nigeria has not worked, and it's not going to work, because look at look at how we are scattered all over the world, because Nigeria is not working. Assuming Nigeria is working, we would have been in our places, maybe in somewhere. You are here as an expert for it, but you are in your country, helping developing the society. We are outside Nigeria because Nigeria drove. In fact, we are in exile. We are not in that. We are not diaspora. For myself, I don't look at myself as a diaspora. I look at somebody as an Igbo man who is in exile, because Nigeria is not working for me.
Yeah, thank you very much. I must be laughing because of Chuck's bond. He's accusing me of taking permit. How did he know that I got this permit from Woody today? But it's fine. Thank you very much for your time.
And exactly finally, because you're talking about Buhari, it is only in Nigeria. It is only in Nigeria that somebody like Buhari, could become a president. I was 18 years when Buhari took over Nigeria governance by force at gunpoint. That alone disqualifies Buhari to hold any public position. Nigeria is not working. That's why Buhari, is today a president of that country.
Anyway.
Somebody who pick up a gun, who removed an elected, legitimate, democratic elected government at a gunpoint. 30 years later, 30 or 35 years later, this guy was smuggled into power again, because Nigeria is what Nigeria is.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, during that 30 years, finally, 30 years of Buhari, he didn't even go back to school. He didn't, do anything, maybe
My
social,
brother,
anything, nothing.
All these things
horrible.
All these things you're saying, let DSS not arrest me. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you. I know I have some callers, but hold on. Let me thank Uche M. Uche, thank you very much. I can see the super chat. I think Icelandish ISK, I don't know what that means, but thank you very much. Much appreciated. That's for the back office. Those working at the back office, thank you. You've done fantastic. Uchenna, by the way, a very good friend of mine and a very good friend of this channel. Uchenna is from Abo in Anambra State, and he lives in Iceland. Uchenna, thank you. So the conversation today, before I move on, I think I need to address some of the things law with Chinese characters saying that Ikwere are Igbos and this and the other one. I mean, I think in trying to assert our Igbo-ness, please, I will beg all of us, be mindful of how others will feel. Because I don't think many of us have actually gone out of our way to engage others and see how some of these perceptions or some of our assertions are seen. I have really, when these are things that are not no one says them online, but in deeper conversations that I have, and I hear these things and I see how they feel. I'll tell us this. When anybody who is Onyibo, because we are ancient people, because we are Ndibo, when you hear a very good Oja with a very good Ogene music, the gong from Enugu or from Ogene Ipachi, there is something it evokes in you. That's what some of these things does to us as Ndibo. But in that moment of feeling the vibe, there are things we forget. That some of the things we also say does to the opposite to those we consider our brothers across the river. Growing up as Onye Igbo, there are things our forefathers told us that were not entirely correct. As Ndi Igbo, we must be very careful. We must be a generation of peace, a generation that will reach out. Yes, we have the numbers, but we must be a people that will be humble enough to look at some of the actions of our forefathers. Yes, there are areas my forefathers got them wrong as regards to their own brothers on the other side. There are stories on abandoned properties that are not palatable. You hear, and I'm addressing law now, you hear about abandoned property. Some of us as Ndi Igbo, the only thing we know about our abandoned property is that our properties were taken. Has anyone ever told you the things that happened before the abandoned properties? Has anyone ever told you how owners of certain properties were not allowed to normalize their papers or not to get this C of O's because they were seen not to be Igbos? Why? Because the capital of that place at that time was in Enugu. Has anyone told you the privileges enjoyed by the old Anambra against everyone in, or rather, to the detriment of everyone in the Eastern region? Listen, this channel is called Njenje Media for a reason. We will go in the deepest archive and get things that over time it will be coming to light one by one. We're not in a hurry. I'm working on it that I will get from both sides of the divide. We will get time, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, it doesn't matter. But we must begin to unearth some of these truths before those who were involved joins our ancestors. These stories that I have heard, I cannot relate them here because they were told in private. But I'm working to get those elders to come on this platform to speak to us so that we can relate these stories to who is saying it and why he is saying it. But these stories must be heard. There is not only in my part of Anambra State, Agwata, there is a place called Oga, a town in Agwata, where Andy Uba comes from. They have a saying that says, Onye manduru, onye motundura manduru, meaning he who knows only one road knows no road. So those things we've been taught, not all of them are entirely correct. On Wednesday, I explained to us on this platform how growing up, I understood and I was made to believe that Awolowo told Ojukwu, if you declare Biafra, I will declare Oduduwa Nation, Republic, or whatever it was. But growing up, becoming an adult, reading wide, you understand that Ojukwu had executive powers. Awolowo, who just came out of prison, had no political powers, talk less of executive powers. They were not standing on the same pedestal. Question then, without speaking further to anybody, would be, hold on a moment. If you had the political power to declare Biafra after consulting with the elders and the assembly, the Eastern Assembly then, who gave you, because Ojukwu did not declare on his own, but there is a people, a group of people, the ruling class, that gave you the impetus, both spiritually, legally, and morally, to declare something. How could you, who has this, Awolowo has nothing? Remember, he was thrown away, his party is already, everything, all his lieutenants, everyone is scattered. He had no locus to even conceived not to talk about it. So I'm not saying this is right, this is wrong, but what I'm saying is we should apply number 6. And when we begin to know this, it will help us shape the way we talk in public most times. Again, I believe law, I have addressed this again. But the other part I will leave, and we will at some point. Again, you're still saying that I have never answered your question. Is there any conquest in the old Eastern region as of then? Law, I don't know. Let's not get into age here, but you appear not to be reading in between the lines of what I'm saying. I put it maybe a little bit straight for you to maybe comprehend. I put it a little bit straight. In the old Eastern region, there were things done by us as Ndibo that, when brought to light today, in line with nepotism, ethnicity, is not palatable. If you don't want to accept it, maybe because you don't know the details, it's up to you. My job on earth is to always look at issues from both sides, not just sticking my head on one side on full throttle, just going as if that's the only way you view the world. Remember, the number 6 could be viewed from different angle, depending on where you stand. It could be 9. It could be 6. It could even be something else. But only the elders knows what that third option is. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. From the way you are now going, I believe you are not, this conversation sadly appears to be above your, sad, I say sadly, from the way you're going, talk everything here now. You can't command me to talk everything here now. The conversation appears to be above you. But have the time, sometime next year, I believe, we will look into. On this channel, I had Cheta Wanze. Cheta is from Delta State. Cheta here spoke about how her mom was denied the Biafran scholarship in the United Kingdom. And some of us are saying Cheta is lying. Cheta is Igbo to the core, Igbo than many people who are from the East. Because we have Igbos of the West and Igbos of the East. I'll give us a hint here. When the Biafran army was leaving, when they went to Benin and on their way back, in order, when they crossed the bridge, they destroyed the bridge. One of the things, some of the elders that have been able to speak to me, even when they've forgiven and they've moved on, but they said that they blame the massacre, the Asaba massacre, on their brothers who ran, did some, quote here, did some unpalatable things to them on their way when they were going out. Did some unpalatable things to them. And when they crossed that bridge, they destroyed the bridge. 4, maybe your argument as Onyibo will be, yeah, they destroyed it so that the Nigerian army will not cross over. But to them, they think you destroyed it for us not to be able to run to you and for them now to come and hold us. Now, either of them could be right, or rather both of them could be right. Both could be right. But it will be immature to think, oh, leave him. What is it now? Is it the destroy bridge? I mean, what? Yeah, we were just protecting now. No. we must approach some of these conversations with some level of maturity. Mistakes were made in the past. That bridge is being rebuilt. Sometimes you people might be seeing some people on this channel talking. The only reason why some of these things are being brought to limelight is for a strategic reason. The internet has opened, especially this YouTube now, has opened the avenue for us to reach out and begin to talk to one another. Let these wounds of the hearts that we have had over a long time, let them begin to heal. On that note, I will say thank you. Everyone who has called me this evening, that has been a very fantastic evening with us. I can take some comments and exactly. Sorry, let me take some comment. Sorry, Godfrey Abazie said, Cheta Wanza is a hardcore. Listen, Cheta is more, sometimes I feel Cheta is even more hardcore than myself. Yet, okay, diplomats, you can call back. I'll take your call. Please call back. I'll take your call. I had so many calls, but I needed to explain this because I see some of us, by the virtue of our comment, and which is part of the reason I do this thing, is to, I do not know them all, but sometimes the things I do not know, I go back. There is one thing from Anambra, we say this again. Ebu jolona aku oba. What is even Ebu? But let me say, let me use the B because I don't even know the botanic name or the English name. But if you know, some of you that studied biology, that were able to draw grasshopper with. These people make us useless when we go to school. We are drawing grasshopper with hand. What value does that add? What he says, Honet? I don't know, but whatever Ebu is, Ebu Juluna Aku. Mr. Ezeoke, you are more of Nigerian than me. Wallahi, this, whether you're a boy or a girl, I don't know, but you do not get it. Law, you do not get it. Okay. I don't know. Okay, no, that's not wasp. Wasp is the other one that looks like bee, but it doesn't produce honey. Ebu is in between a plain mantis, but blackish. You know, when it stings, it has his in the houses. Like now, I come home, I see them upstairs everywhere. They can sting real bad. So what Ebu does is, before it stings, it goes to its next. So there are things, why I make that analogies, there are things I don't know. No one knows it all. No one is found. So we can learn from each other, but there are things if I don't know, at least I seek out those who I think we are involved. There are things I've read from books, and I want to go back and I confront those. Many of them now in their late 80s, getting to 90s, and very soon they would leave this Mother Earth. It is our job, especially you watching me now. If there is any of them that you think that before he joins the land of the ancestors, be it from the Igbo nation, be it from our brothers across the Niger, that you may want me to speak to, avail me their contact, inbox me, get me, on my telephone number, on my email at Maazi Ezeoke with AA@gmail.com. I can speak to them because we owe it our generations. The coming generations, we owe them the duty for them to know better than what we know. Many of our, the things we write sometimes, or majorly, out of emotions. I do understand because these are sometimes we've kind of moved away from the topic, but I can see how the emotions were very high when I talked about the Igbo nation or the southern Nigeria as the solution to the current political madness, which is actually a topic I think I will treat on its own. Southern Nigeria as a solution to the current Nigerian political madness. Okay, so on that note, I can see some of you. You know, if you do have someone that you think I should get in touch, you can avail me their number. I will call them, arrange if they can. If they cannot, maybe join through technology. We'll see if one of our staffs can go there with their camera and do the recording, because we owe the unborn and the younger generation the duty to document some of these things. Because today, if you see, I saw one interview, I think, conducted by one guy in America around 1992. The first time I sat down and I watched Nnamdi Azikiwe, that time I think he's about 80 something, getting about 86 or thereabout. You can see him weak and fragile, but one of the best interview I've watched on him, when he was talking about how he studied in America, his concept, blah blah blah. You know, this is not a political interview, but he sat down and I was watching him. He felt like he was sitting near me. And I was, questions were popping into my mind. I could have asked him this, I could have asked him the other one. And I know you watching me now, you could also have asked questions if you had him sit in front of you. We should be, as Nigerian children normally say, they say, Daddy, you should be coming down. So many of you, I say you should be coming down. Law, you should be coming down. And I don't blame them. Like Uche said, that the reason why some of these arguments are coming up is that what's it called? History is no longer taught in school, and I agree. But equally, bear in mind that history is his own story, the story of the one who won. Me and you fight. I kill you. I write story. I can only put my own narrative. Therefore, if I have an eyewitness who is unable to write, but he is able to speak of what he saw or what she saw, it could also form part of the documentation. Exactly, Kenry. I mean, of course, I do a lot of documentation, and beyond the documentation, because beyond the documentation that I do, part of the reason I am also doing, series of interviews is also that not only that I'm saying these things, that we should also have, this, because it's, if I go into a room and come out and say, this is what I discussed with Mr. A, the tendency that people will begin to, well, Maazi, are you sure Mr. A said this? The tendency is there that people will begin to even question the authenticity of my narration. But if I sit Mr. A here, sitting down here, now, in this mud house, and we are speaking, I look him eyeball to eyeball, and he's telling me, Maazi, in 1960 or in 1962, I have a house in Port Harcourt, and I was told that to get the CFO, I need to go to Enugu. And I got to Enugu to get the CFO, and they asked me my state of origin, and I said, I'm not from. Are you from Anambra? I said, no. You're from this particular place. And they said, no, we won't give you CFO. If I'm telling you that, you will think, are you sure? But if a man probably is telling you first person story, he's using first person singular, me, I, it happened to me, not that I heard that it happened. Someone is sharing his experience. That's why when Cheta Wanze was sharing his experience, because Cheta was born in London, by the same mother that was denied that scholarship. Now, you sitting down watching him in the comfort of your home saying he's lying. I mean, you've by the virtue of your statement, you've virtually done the same thing we condemn Nigeria of doing, because you cannot decide the fate of someone who is telling you his story and you're telling that person is lying. First of all, what I expected from many of you who did that was to say, we empathize, but we believe it was a mistake of the past. You know, the people that go to church call it the sins of the ancestors or whatever, the sins of the forefathers. But that does not mean. Now, there was another one that was told to me. That was actually one of the greatest Igbo leaders. That this story was told about, is it 3 weeks? No. After the Igbo leaders visited the Igbo. So there was some incident that I wasn't happy. So I made calls. And I rang some of them saying, why did this happen? Why? And in the course of that discussion, some of the elders told me something. They said the reason why, or how this Ikwere, Igbo, Eche something comes about is that there is another narrative to it. That some of them are truly our brothers, sold into slavery, and some of them came to their current location waiting to be transported via the sea, and slave trade was abolished. Therefore, they couldn't travel. They could no longer go to Europe or America. They stayed back. But one thing that is very critical is the way and manner in which they were captured by those they trusted, their uncles. Because at that point, in the Igbo hinterland, their uncles have taken over whatever was bequeathed to them. Going back was to go ferment trouble. You don't have any fierce or superior power to go back and fight. Now, this is a narrative. I'm only just mentioning it here for the first time. It's only one part. But what that means is, I want to a point that those who feel comfortable to talk about it will come here and narrate it from their own perspective. Maybe it will begin to sink in when we hear them say such. When it doesn't come from me, because if I'm telling you, it's going to be only a reported speech. But if you hear someone say, this is me, or this is my father, this is my grandfather, it might probably begin to make some impact. Okay. Maazi Ezeoke, please agree with me. Your guys on social media only want to make name and money. This boy or man or girl, I don't know. It must be which money to make. Don't you? Anyway, let's not. I wouldn't descend that low with you, but thoughts is free. You can always think. But one thing you have to know in life is that in a life of a nation, when vacuums are created, there are people that will fill that vacuum. And what also you might not know is that sometimes, and in most cases, these things come with a greater risk. Because we are obviously in a nation or within a nation that does not punish people for doing wrong, but go ahead punishing people for speaking truth or for exposing things that they believe should not be in the open. And you think everyone will come and shake you. Avino said, Gedanken frei. Wir kann sie, then I add, wir kann sie erraten. Ne? Gedanken frei, wie es kann sie erraten. Maazi, you are confusing the gullible Igbos like you. Okay, sorry. I agree. It's fine. It's fine. Law says na man. Okay, law, you a man, fine. So whatever you are. And I say, that's fine. Don't mind him. People will say myopic thing. I don't, honestly. But there is an adage that says, what elders see sitting down, others might climb Iroko. They might not see it. And some younger ones will say, we'll fly drone. We'll go fly drone. So we'll go fly drone, go see I'm waiting. But again, it remains an adage because it's not about the physical sight of seeing certain things. You know, it's not about the physical sight of seeing certain things. I take the comment from J Mark says, Maazi, we have a senior man who fought as a naval officer. He was amongst the one called home by Ojukwu during Nigerian Biafra war. He was wounded, but still alive. So if you want me to speak to him and if he's willing, if he knows some of the things about the relationship with our brothers on the other side, please, can you avail me the information? I will be happy to reach out. Maazi, is there any news of completing Second Niger Bridge? Second Niger Bridge, to the best of my knowledge, the government's, the timeline hasn't changed. I think it should be sometime in 2022. So I think less than 2 years. If I'm not mistaken, I think April 2022. I don't know. So that's my take. Now I will use the rest of the minutes to take your questions, basically, and see quickly. I would take your questions and I would endeavor to do justice to them. Okay. John Igley, youth of nowadays don't do research. Many of us speak from mere hearsay. Exactly. I do agree with you. Odd Avinu Chai. Please, wie heißt du eigentlich? Was für ein Name? Kannst du mir das verraten? Odd Avinu Chai. So what kind of name is this? And it says, until the lion have their own historians, the history of the hunter will always glorify the history of the hunt would always glorify the hunter. I think I agree with that. And in this generation, it is our duty. Oh, someone gave me a super chat. How could I have missed that? Who is that? Oh, thank you very much, Brian Okonkwo. Wow, Brian, again, thank you. Please, guys, if you don't agree with him, you don't have to watch. You can agree to disagree. International Museum Liverpool is a lovely place to see. Brian, you got me there. I promised us by the time Corona finishes, I will try and do a live video from International Museum. You know, I'll visit International Museum Liverpool and I'll do a live video from there. There you will learn some of the things. I've been there once and I was blown away, but I wasn't prepared. Obviously, I didn't go with cameras to do recording or anything, but I promised that I will do. When you do visit, as Brian has said, you will basically understand you feel sad. Not many of you watching me now knows this, that Ibuku in Anambra State, Ileife in the Yoruba nation, both in the same time, we are working with iron ore. Before the Europeans discovered iron at all, before they even began using it, before the Industrial Revolution. Now, the same thing applies to Benin. the detailing, there is one documentary I watched, the what's it called? What's this young man? The new Bini Oba. No, not Oba. This is a Yoruba Oba of Ile-Ife, isn't it? The cap that he wears, there is like a pen, or like a pointer here at the top. And this documentary has it that the detailing in that cannot even be produced by machine. Talk less of so many hundreds of years that your ancestors were able to intelligently work on such materials. And you shouldn't be proud of yourself. We were a great people before these white people came. We were a great people. And some of these stories must come back. The challenge I have is one of the things that were stolen from us. And in this, when I talk about this now, I now talk about the southern Nigeria as a collective. That includes the Benin Kingdom, the Great Igbo Nation, and that includes the Yoruba Nation. And many of us don't know. We talk about even the walls of China. The walls of China is nowhere near the greatest in the whole world. The greatest wall ever built by a human being is in Benin. And our histories we don't. But we can fly to China and we want to go and visit the great walls of China. We can go to Egypt. We want to go and visit the pyramid. I was happy that the other day, the BBC Igbo visited in Sudan, where we had pyramids in the Igbo nation, in Sudan, in Enugu State. So our stories must be told by us. Our stories must be told. Hold on, sorry. Our stories must be told by us. Okay? So when we begin to learn and understand these things, we will begin to see where there were deliberate attempts to truncate the things that we should have known that should have helped us. Imagine where our forefathers, before white men even knew what iron was, iron ore, our forefathers were already making carvings out of them. With details, they can get a mask, woe the mask ichi, the cabins, woe mask ichi. What technology were they using to melt iron those period? And we call them primitive. And rather than you and I to respect and honor our ancestors, all we do this Christmas now, crusade everywhere like mad people. You want to cast and bind them. Come on. If you and I lived 200 years ago, I've said this multiple times, I probably would have killed twins because I didn't know better. It's not that they were evil, yet you glorify an ancestor of a person who will go to a carpenter and do what they call stretcher to put somebody, wind it like the way when we were growing up. You go to market to grind, what's it called, egusi. They will put it in that machine, quickly. You just like a grinder to stretch you, a human being alive, put in chains, stretch you to a point. Your leg can come off, your arm come off. You alive. You'll be dying, shouting. And you think our ancestors. Benin Wall was built with one of the most sophisticated materials on earth. Never rotten. So how did they do it? Can we look into something that can help us build better houses? No, we're not interested. We want to just do everything. Our ancestors were great people. If you're not proud of your ancestors, I am proud of mine. Well, every ancestor, just like you and I, we make mistakes. And so what? Is that the reason why I would discard them? No, I would never. Still proud of them. Of course, there were mistakes that they made, and so what? Everybody makes mistake. Even in England, here in Europe, how many years? Probably less than 100 years that they stopped burning witches. Put you say you're a witch, they burn just the kind of useless thing we do in Nigeria. The kind of you see an old woman with dementia. You go and say, she was flying, and she fell down. And we'll go and say, Mama, you hit her. I say, like, what is wrong with our brains? Because they've used religion to manipulate your brain in order to get into your pocket. Suddenly, if they got into your pocket start leaking now, your brain is now probably start leaking as well. Because you can no longer comprehend, because you now believe that everyone in your village for this Christmas is walking around. It probably now, if it's in the village, this is what I drink my palm wine with. I will be sitting down. A small boy will be looking at me. This man, Najas, the man also, because your brain is being warped. Sadly, our woes were compounded by the advent of Nollywood. If we don't show Christmas, you come in, Emeka comes in, he does juju, uncle gives him whatever, Emeka dies. He doesn't sell. But it appears, I ask you, you watching me now, you watching me in Anambra now, where we are currently, do you walk around with the juju? Look, it's actually funny because some of us think that in the village that people actually walk around just as if they do nothing, just walk around looking for who to put. Nah. Anyway, that's a story for another day. I mean, things to talk about. It's too many. It's too many. But we must continue. Emmanuel Adim says, Maazi, we get the Emir gets good. What about the Enugu airport? Well, Enugu airport is finished. It's done, dusted. The interior was done. The scaffoldings have been removed. Sadly, because of the COVID, Enugu airport will not be open for international flights. So the Enugu airport will be opened whenever Aminu Kanu, what's it called? Omowa, that is the Port Harcourt, will open. Sadly, sadly, and that's what it is. We will be lucky if the two airports that are open is not even closed. Many people are panicking that they might be closed very soon because of the new strain of coronavirus found in South Africa and United Kingdom, or rather England, because that strain is not yet in Scotland, Wales, and the Northern Ireland, but only in England. Okay, so I mean I'm taking questions now. Okay, so that's the question on Enugu. Once more, Brian Okonkwo, I must appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much for your support. I know the guys in the back office, they are all smiling now. Thank you for your support. Uche says, Mr. Law, behave. We are not here to insult one another, but instead to share ideas. Mr. Ezeoke, we don't have time for all these stories. Pointless without freedom we are. I think, Law, I have given you enough leeway, please. Now, I wouldn't hesitate to ask them, or rather, hold on. No. They're asking if they should block you. No, they shouldn't block you. Let them leave you. It's a free world. I mean, you have your views. Everyone have their views as well. So that's why, we must not act like Nigerian, because Nigeria is where people do not want ideas to flourish. But we should be a people that allow others to engage. It doesn't matter as long as we do it civil. So let's engage. Uche has his point, but please, Uche, I will beg you, do not insult others. One of the things we do on this platform is to ensure that everyone watching, that in 5-10 years time, the comments you made and the things spoken here even when you have children, grandchildren, that they will be glad to see what their father, their uncle, their sister, their mother has been saying over and over. Okay, so that and I keep asking, before you make your comment, this is for me for personal check. I keep asking people this. You might be angry of or be upset of what I've said or what someone have said, but the question is, in many years to come, you read that comment again or you watch what you've said, will you be able to, or will you still be proud of that? Odd Avino Chai says, Chai Maazi, I wish I was your picking. How can you? Some people are. How can you be my fikin? No, you can be Buhari fikin. No. Edwin says, why using a Maazi? Okay. Edwin, are you a Mecca? I think at this point I only have but Maazi, stop confusing people with Ohaneze mentality. Please, I think I would want to know what you mean by that. And if I know what you mean by confusing people with Ohaneze mentality, then I can see how I can answer that question respectfully. Okay? So maybe try and formulate it very well, then I can avail you my thoughts. Chukwudi Favor Konkwo says, Igbos have a great culture and tradition. What we need is to educate our people on our culture. But if we don't, those that know little or no knowledge of our culture, we continue to misinterpret our culture, thereby tagging it evil. I can't agree more. Chukwuemeka Favor Okonkwo. I can't agree more that we have a lot of people who, because of Christianity, wants to make financial gains by demonizing and confusing our people as to what our culture stands for. Okay, but not to say that we must also differentiate between the culture of a people and some practices amidst some traditional practices. I promised us in one of the interviews I had last 2 weeks with one of the Ohaneze presidential candidate, that is in the person of Professor Osuagwu. Professor Osuagwu, in private conversations and during that interview, blew my mind for the first time on the concept of Dibia, and with his juxtaposition of that concept to the concept of a pharmaceutical doctor and a medical doctor. Wow. He's one. He's three of them in one. He is all of them in one. So when he began to, and I began to see he helped me to understand some of Father Arazo. There is a Catholic Reverend Father called Father Arazo. You can Google him. One of the concepts that Arazo, propositions that he made. And I thought, okay, after the whole thing, it doesn't irrespective of the outcome, I would want to invite Professor Osuagwu maybe for a 2-hour conversation, because some of his ideas is bottled and must be, some of his ideas must be explored. Some of these ideas must be explored. So Michael Okorowite says, why is Ohaneze not making efforts to unite Eastern? Now, Michael, I'm not Ohaneze. I am as concerned as any of us. The only difference is that I see a gap and I see a problem. On my own, I make effort to seek for solution. That's why you can see whatever you see on this platform is because I've seen a gap and I see there is need to bridge certain gaps. And that's why efforts are made. I believe that would answer that question. Okay, so Maazi Ezeoke, please, can we talk more on the delay in opening Enugu airport? I mean, okay, Alosi, there is, I'll put it this way. The opening of Enugu Airport, the opening of Aminu Kano Airport, and the opening of Port Harcourt International Airport to international flights is dependent on COVID. And if the government considers it that it's worsening, then they won't be opening. You know, I have many people who are supposed to fly into Enugu. Myself, that is my favorite airport, but we cannot use it. But Enugu is open for local flights. Sadly, you land either in Lagos or Abuja, then you can connect with APs too. You know. Okay. Toshits Niger TV says, Maz, if you have time for me, I have a lot to tell you about Igbo people, starting from the origin to when white people came and when we. Okay. You can always come in box and we have conversation. I know arrangement is being made with Eze Chukwuemeka of Eri. That is the Eri kingdom, where we believe that is the cradle of Igbo civilization. And there are some things he would throw, there are some lights he would throw also for us to understand. So at the appropriate time, we will see him and he will be answering some of these questions and trying to point us to where we are and some of the things that many of us didn't know. But I will beg us, please, things that you are confused about, things you don't know, do not conclude and do not maybe shout and insult others that have different opinion on them. Rather, in love and in humility, ask questions. You know, in Igbo we say, no onye ajụjụ arefu ọkwụ n'ụzọ. What is, please, okay, what is the question? Law, please, can you, okay, I missed your question. Now you have an opportunity. I'm closing now in 3 minutes, but can you ask your question again? I agree. Law, can you please ask your question? Nobody, I don't believe anybody is angry with you, but you must stop being antagonistic in your way you are, because now look at it. We have over quarter of 1,000, close to 250 people watching on various platforms. And you're getting angry, and everybody is having this without meeting you, without knowing you, because I know obviously that's not your real name, but you appear aggressive. You see, the impression in communication you create with people matters a lot in the way people deal with you. Okay? Again, like Brian Okonkwo said, no one is angry with you. And I do not believe that angry and that anybody is angry with you. Now, the quotation that is actually being my favorite from Chinua Achebe is the one that I've put on the screen. Amongst the Igbo people, the act of conversation is regarded very highly, and proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten. So sometimes some of you that think that I am not too straight, that means you do not understand the act of using proverbs to speak. The phone has been busy. Hold on. Whether they don't call me sote and block the line, to myself. Wallahi. 49 miss. Una go kill me. Okay. Are you trying to call me? Call me again. Let me see. You cannot place WhatsApp call. Oh. Kilo there. Someone is blocking the line, or not me, or sorry, or let me cut the someone. Okay. People, this is Christmas, so you people no one, no one go do Christmas. Abuna no go do Christmas for me. Yeah, hello. Oh, Maazi Ezeoke here. Yeah. Please, can you remove whatever?
I'm watching you always here.
Can you remove whatever device you're watching me from? Because I can hear myself, you talking back, please.
Okay, let me.
But please, anyone watching me, before you call me, the moment I pick that call, the device you're watching me from should be turned off, please.
I have turned it off already.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm from Imo State. I'm calling you from Switzerland.
Okay. Good.
And I also watch your moderation in different. I've been watching your program and their moderation about when brother Maazi.
Yeah. So can I remind me your name again?
John.
Okay.
Ugochukwu.
John Ugochukwu. Okay. Are you the real diplomat?
I've been a member of.
Hold on. Are you the one on YouTube with real diplomats?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No. So I was asking this question because I've been a member of MASOP in those days when I was in one of African country.
Mm-hmm.
And when the kind of came, I saw the whole truth, nothing but the truth in him.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I want to ask before I say thank you for what you are doing, out of love you are doing it, and as you are doing it out of love, I want to ask a question. If you support somehow, maybe some of our brothers they are secret disciple, and actually I believe you believe what Maazi, our leader, Nnamdi Kanu is doing. I believe you trust in him somehow. Why I say somehow, you may not like to say it openly, maybe.
So what's your question then?
Then my question is, I believe you support his movement. Is the question that I asked. And then the second one is, I think we have lost every faith to come back to be Nigeria. Nigeria era is over. And they themselves know it. I think they should know that. So, and the Ohaneze Ndigbo doesn't represent us. Ohaneze Ndigbo does not represent us. And I am very, very annoyed for that. Annoyed with you, especially. We don't have Ohaneze Ndigbo. So they don't represent us. So I don't know why we should be talking about Ohaneze Ndigbo, their election, their voting. Those people doesn't represent us.
Okay.
We don't know them.
You see one thing. Now,
yes.
In your conversation, you are beginning to make the same fundamental mistake that many of us do.
Okay.
If you have watched me enough, I gave us the analogy of 3 people traveling in a car, and the car broke down. And when someone from London called me, I gave him an analogy of the street and the house owners. Now, we need the street. Everyone is an agitator, as what's it called? One of the people here said, I think that was made by Chooks Bond, that everyone is an agitator, but perspectives may differ. I will not be a party to anyone that does not believe in the Igbo concept of Egbe Belu Ugo Belu. Let the kite perch and let the eagle perch. We need each other in this struggle to liberate ourselves. Right?
Yes.
I do not know how you have come to know I wouldn't want to say, because when we talk about Ohaneze, if you understand, in my recent engagement, and I have come to understand some things that probably would need to be explained to many of us, is that we probably perceive Ohaneze as an organization detached from us. But you find out it's an umbrella body of anyone who is Igbo by birth. That means it's something that is cast, it's structured and rooted down to various town unions. Now, and it's in every community. Therefore, if the cultural or developmental decisions that they will take would affect you, I don't think we should run away from the affairs. The reason why people like myself have taken the time to begin to look and say, what are they actually doing in there? What is actually happening? Is because I think, as Abiola said, you cannot barb people's hair or shave people's hair in their absence. Have they been living up to expectations? Of course, no, hell no. They haven't. Have they done marvelously well? I wouldn't say so that they have. But do we need them? Do we need to knock them? Do we need to encourage them? And do we need to see how we can work with them to get to our destinations? Of course, yes. And I have no apology to say yes. The same thing applies to the street. Have we got it all right in the street? Of course, no. Mistakes has been made. Lies we are told. There are things that were done that were not correct. But does that mean that we need to discard the street? Of course, no, because without the street, you wouldn't have the elite.
Yes, sir.
So that is...
So, excuse me, sir. Let me ask the last question, because probably this is my 36 years outside Nigeria, and I've visited a lot of Nigerian diplomats. Some of them have been even under my fellowship when I was in the church, leading a lot of, some of them are under my leadership as a leader in the church. I want to say that we ought to leave Ohaneze, completely abandon them. Ohaneze should be abandoned because they have abandoned us since 1960. We shouldn't even be mentioning Ohaneze and them.
Okay.
I've met them in different places. That is what I just want to contribute. And another one is that we have to follow one leader. Many leaders and many agitators will believe them.
Okay.
But not with.
Is it, my dear? Like I would. Sorry, I would. Like
they not have
the moment someone begins to talk about that, you only know one road. You don't care what happens to the other. Count me out.
We have been there before, sir.
No, listen.
We
have been there before because we've been sleeping. We been sleeping. We cared not.
When they came to dance, sir. Excuse me, sir. When they came to Oyibo killing, you can see a completely dysfunctioning of these people. They were total, even the houses, even some of Fulani who are good, they are saying that what was done to the Oyibo is unacceptable. And then these people went there to dance. And they have been dancing like that since. So somebody cannot be inside his enemy territory fighting for the liberation of his people.
Okay, so let's no, hold on. Let's not get this thing mixed up. So what's your proposition then?
My proposition is very, very clear.
Okay.
We have only one leader.
Okay.
I have not met him. I have not seen him, only broadcasting, only listen to him. Told me that this man, Nnamdi Kanu, is the ultimate answer. We have nothing. I believe you're a good person, and you have been a good person. You remain a good person. Attached to anything he said, you will achieve both saving your people, because you are coming out is to save your people and save our culture and protect everything about us.
Okay.
That is one. What
Thank
I propose.
you.
Number two, I propose, excuse me, sir. Number two, what I want
But
to
others are waiting now. Excuse me, sir. You cannot occupy the line alone. Others are waiting. Okay, go ahead.
One thing. You are a very good person. I have seen all your organization. You try to accommodate people who are not who will never accept accommodation. It is not going to work. You love people. Not everybody say Jesus good morning. I want to let you know. Those people who hate Jesus because Jesus has been good, so they will not accept you. Don't try to bring Ohanese and Igbo in Biafra. Biafra is not Igbo. Biafra is multi-ethnic culture, and different languages are inside. So those are people.
If I tell you that you're sounding confused, don't get offended. Listen, you talked about it now. You said Ohanese and Igbo. What does that name tell you? They're talking about Igbo. So you cannot force someone, you can't push someone into what they are not representing. Before here, I told us something.
Yes, sir, but we're not forcing them. Look at
exactly. So you've made hold on. You've made up your mind. You're not going to. You made up your mind. You don't regard them. You don't take them. That's fine. Then thank you very much. You don't regard them. Then that's fine. We can't quarrel. But let them hold on. Let them do what they are there to do. Many of us.
Sir. Okay. Only one thing before you conclude. One thing. Ohanese and Igbo are part of Biafra, but we cannot trust them. They are not trustworthy.
That's fine. Okay, they are not trustworthy. We can't do anything about that. Okay.
They have tried.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Let me take the next caller. Thank you very much. Hello, you are speaking to Maazi Ezeoke.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I greet you, Maazi Ezeoke.
Yes.
I'm calling from Germany. My name is DK Lazarus.
Okay.
Sir, I wanted to encourage you. You're doing a very wonderful job. You have said it all. Just like the last caller said, what the last caller said. He doesn't understand the angle you're going. But my submission and my contribution, like the analogy you gave about the spoiled car, So you said a very wonderful thing that people should be able to understand the angle you're going. You've made us here to believe and understand even the way the IPOB is going. Everybody is working towards this very good, even with the Ohanese, But you now gave your own sound of idea. If we work together and said, let us go by the two parts of the country, the southern Nigeria and then the Nigeria. So I think this said it all. If we can unite together, put ourselves in this very ship, and make sure that we work with the people, bring the people together, give them a sense of belonging. You know, those things you think if people do you wouldn't like it. Don't do it to the other side. So let us work together, and with this, I think we can achieve what we want to achieve.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
I look at you as a very intelligent man.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your call. Let me take the next call. Thank you.
You're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello. You're speaking to Maazi. Hello, can you please off the device you're listening from?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. I'm listening. Maazi Ezeoke speaking.
I've been trying to get a hold of you for some time. Can you hear me clearly?
I can.
Yes. There's one. My name is Joseph Chimoruche. And the issue there that I'm seeing that I can't identify with is with your analogy of the stalled car, and also that analogy of the house in the street. And the purpose of it is that inherently you have to have the right understanding and looking at the situation that's facing the Igbo nation. And the area I'm coming from is that one must understand that the entire world system of government is flawed. And with that understanding, you then look at the situation that we're currently in as a people. And then as you take that further down the chain of logic and reason, you realize that the power to transcend this current situation can only be found in a source that is divine in nature. And that brings me to the place where I have to really, really stand somewhat hesitant at.
Hello? Hello? We are making a very... Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, continue. You just went off for a while.
Okay, so now what I'm saying is with the Christian aspect, because so many people of the Igbos believe that Christianity has brainwashed so many people to not realize the true value of the culture. And that is very, very dangerous because it's the actual opposite. True Christianity, those who have found the ever-giving fountain of wisdom and understanding that is in Jesus Christ, has the ability to see the true value and the culture of the Igbo tradition. There is so much power and treasure that is in the Igbo culture. Matter of fact, the Igbos, I know for a fact, are a chosen generation of God's people. The problem is that people are not leaning into the wisdom of God to decipher the true status and meaning of our Igbo culture. Because me, I personally was born here in the States from a very powerful Igbo man from Imo State. And the amount of wisdom and knowledge that God has given me through the meditation of the words of truth in the Bible has caused me to understand fully the Igbo culture. And this is one of the things that is driving me crazy, because so many people believe that that Christianity is opposed to.
No,
yes,
I don't think it's entirely correct. Now, let me ask you this question. Have you, let me put it this way. Which denomination do you attend? Have you had encounter with Nigerian fake pastors?
Yes, but the counterfeit should not in any way...
No, hold on. It does. You see why? Now, people take their make some choices based on the encounter they have. Now, bear in mind, the only reason why it was easier for Christianity to permeate the Igbo society is because the Igbos are a very spiritual people. Bear in mind, what we call Christianity did not bring the knowledge of God to Ndi Igbo, because Ndi Igbo already knew God before Christianity came to them. Are you aware? Right? What the Christianity did to Ndi Igbo is to bring the knowledge of Christ, which they did not have. It's very simple. Our forefathers, when they say Obasibine Nuchi nke Ukwu, those names already existed before even the advent of the white man. So they fell and they knew they were already worshiping God, right? But they were worshiping them through a different means. When the Western came, started talking about, okay, rather than your Ikenga, your Ogugu, your X, your Z, it's through the Son, which is Jesus Christ. That was the only extra knowledge. Now, where the challenge is that you have a set of people whose entire interest is the material gain, and they do all sorts of things to confuse people. And at the end of the day, the people, when people become more enlightened and they begin to see from the other angle. I'll give us another example. Why is it that many people in Nigeria, I remember before I moved back, when I lived outside Nigeria, you go to pray, you pray. I remember praying for God to give me light, for God to provide light. I mean, it is insane. But someone moves out of Nigeria, comes to America. You're lucky you were born in America, but someone comes to America. Suddenly, you find out you've been wasting your prayer time praying for light, that all you needed to do is to hold somebody responsible, and that freaking individual will give you light. But here we are, we're crossing our fingers, praying for God to give you something that you already have that is under your control. Therefore, what we need to do is to enlighten the mind in order to understand the knowledge and the concept of God from a different format, not the current fraudulent format that's majorly, not all, but majorly. Because you have where people pay tithes, they use the tithe and build schools, and the children of the poor that pay the tithe cannot even go to that school. Whereas when you had the real Christians that were in Nigeria then, or in the Igbo nation then, those Christian schools were free. But today, no one can even afford those schools anymore. So,
okay, Maazi, for the sake of time, let me please interject. Let me please interject, because I'm really, really loving this, but I really would like to ensure.
I think we make a different program for this. Honestly, I think it's something that we need to explore.
Yes, this is something that I really want to make clear, because you did say on the onset that because of so many fake pastors, that people have shied away from the authentic level. That in no way should negate the fact that what is authentic is authentic. But now let's take it deeper. Let's take it deeper. Once again, if we use the premise that all world systems are fallen, then we come from a whole different perspective. And I need to ensure that that is established. Because if you're looking to get perfection from an imperfect system, that is a waste of time. And that's what's causing a lot of headache. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to realize that all systems of world government are fallen.
Sure.
The system is corrupt.
Exactly.
It's corrupt. Okay, so now when a person individually, this is an individual first battle, connects with his supreme maker, and believe you me,
power that is in the word of Jesus Christ opens up so many channels of so many deep things of culture that once you hear it, you know that for a fact this is truth. That is the power of the word. Like you said, the Chinua Achebe's quote, the proverbs are the oil to which we digest words. Also, the ears test people's words. And the men and women of wisdom of a culture, when they hear the truth and when they hear the words of wisdom, they know. So now, let's go to your analogy of the three men stranded in the car. There's three men stranded in the car. I believe that analogy is very powerful in thinking, but it is flawed in the sense that, once again, the system is dead. If you're hoping in resurrecting a system that is dead, then we're going to be at a standstill, and that is where we are right now.
Now, the system, remember, in mind, the system is the car, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking about, why do you need a system? You need the destination is where you want to be. Whether with the car, without the car, or anything, you want to get to your destination, right?
Absolutely.
So if the system is the car, and let's agree the car knocked engine, so you need to make progress, right? So in making progress, the three individuals at some point need to, work with each other in order to get out of that place, because they've been in a desert, right?
Absolutely. So let me clearly say one thing right here, because right there, that is where the spiritual and the physical draw to different dimensions. The men and women that are trusting in the world system to produce what they're looking for, then they must get their harvest from that world system, which will never give you what you think, because a system will only be able to spit out what it is, and the system is flawed. So anybody that's trusting to get a perfect harvest from a system, what is this saying?
No, sorry. I don't think in honesty, I don't think anybody is thinking of harvesting a perfect system. But there are some basic fundamental principles that we had before, sadly is gone. Now, some saying, where do you stand? You stand for restructuring, or you stand for total dismemberment. Whether you stand for restructuring, you stand for it to be dismembered today, there is one thing that is very critical. Either way, at the middle is conversation. If you're not willing to converse, whether you stand for restructuring, you're not going to get it. You stand for total dismemberment, you're not going to get it. You go and take guns, you kill yourself. After killing yourself, you still come back to the table, which is that conversation. No nation has ever fought war and created a nation in the battlefield. No, it's at the negotiating table. Now, if you know this, and I believe, as you said, that there is some higher spirituality in the Igbo person, then the question is, knowing these details and knowing these informations, then I wouldn't push for something that's going to hurt my people. I'll push for the lesser evil.
But okay, here's the thing, Maazi, I want to tell you, sir, that I love this, because this kind of, like you said, this conversation is very essential. But here's the problem.
Yeah.
The spiritual enlightenment that is given to those who have the wisdom of understanding the higher application of what is going on is the minority. The mass majority are always going to be like brute beasts that will just move towards things without any kind of thinking.
You know,
your analogies.
Listen. God bless you with that last word, because it is for the minority. That is the essence. The conversation on this platform is not for everybody. It's not a conversation that you will see 2,000, 3,000 people. No, it is for selected few. That's what it is.
But no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The power of the wisdom is that it can move the masses without the masses knowing. So here's what I'm trying to break down. What I'm trying to break down is that when things happen and move, what the people have in mind usually have no consequence to the real truth that is so deep, that is so deep that no one can even possibly fathom. And this is the kind of spiritual revelation that can only be derived from a divine source. So now, going back to where we are, the problem lies is that when people start to think that they can use practical physical applications to draw about spiritual results. Now, when you have people looking at it from a physical, it's like you have a big Iroko tree. And instead of going to the root, you start playing with the leaves. No matter how long you play with those leaves, that tree will still be standing and bearing its fruit in its season. Yeah. When you look at things from a spiritual approach, you are now able to realize that there's no solution to be had in the perfection or even the optimizing of a dead system. Okay. Rather, the power comes from those chosen individuals that have been blessed from God, that have the capacity to enter into the presence of the Lord, inquire of him, and receive a divine wisdom and instruction that opens the door for profound breakthrough. Now, here's the problem. The men and women in the Igbo culture that have this gift, you will find them in the most worst situations, because the road that must be taken for those who have this calling, it is so deeply embedded with very dangerous trials and tribulations that cause these people to be nearly extinct. They're not in great demand, neither are they in great supply. Okay. So, Maazi,
thank you very much. I think in the new year we would schedule a broadcast that will be on the Igbo spirituality and all the rest. So I think it's something. Thank you for the insight. It's something that we must explore. I might actually go look for someone who also can give us greater insights. You know, it's again, these conversations must continue. Thank you very much.
One thing I would like to add on that, just one thing. God gave me a revelation. Okay. And it was about the Jion festival, the New Yam Festival. Yeah. Like the New Yam Festival, you know, right now, that is being lost, because right now some people don't even understand that the yam signified back in the day the currency of the men. It signified the vibrancy and the buoyancy of the males. And now that is gradually being lost to most people, not recognizing that that yam signified a tithe. It was.
Hello, you cut off again.
Yes, that New Yam Festival is now currency. And it takes people to now take those old festivals and cultures and translate them back into new day applications. And so much of the wisdom and the culture is being lost because this transfer is not happening. And so, yeah, you know, I will be looking out for more of these discussions, but it's really a blessing being able to be part of it. I really thank God for your life, and I thank God that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Oh, there are people I need to. Oh, you call him back again. Yeah, you call him back again.
My brother. Yeah, my brother. I'm calling from Germany. My name is Chinedu.
I think we've spoken before, Chinedu. So go ahead.
Yeah, I called, but the call cut off. Okay. Please, I'm watching you for so long.
I'm tired already, so but the calls won't stop coming.
I saw it already. I know what I want. Please, I've seen all what you are doing. That is only God that is doing all for us, because we are all human beings. I'm calling you from Germany, and and people that is not in Germany, that is in Nigeria. As you said, we entered into this problem inside the bus rolling. First of all, we have to plan the way to stop the bus and then get out from the bus.
Through the window. I am a window.
Yoruba is a human being. Hausa man is a human being. Igbo man is a human being.
Sure.
And this is the three people that languages that built that Nigeria. Nobody forced us to be there. We are inside our land. Like now I'm in Europe, I'm in Germany. Poland is
no. Someone forced us. I think it's incorrect to say no one forced us. Someone forced.
No, I said.
Okay.
No one kept us there. It's God that kept us there. That's what I meant.
Well, but God didn't create Nigeria, did he?
Yeah. God created everybody.
No. I disagree.
Part of that country called Nigeria.
No. God created Igbo nation, but God didn't create Nigeria. God created Oduduwa nation. God didn't create Nigeria. God created Fulani. God created Kenuri. God created Mumuye. But it never created Nigeria. Nigeria is an artificial creation of an amalgamation. So I think
exactly.
So if you're using maybe you use the right word, but to tell me that God created it, nah.
Exactly. That is you.
Somebody should not sell that concept to me because I won't buy it.
Exactly. You have corrected me. That is why I said we are all the same.
Okay.
It's good for us to understand ourselves.
Okay.
That area we are called West Africa. That is, we are all black people. And if we cannot arrange ourselves, the white people cannot come and arrange ourselves for us. Now we are trapped in a net by Britain. Check 1969, after the war. How many years now? Till today, 50 years. So anybody from us, I don't know how many years you are, but I know how many years I have. I was born in the war. Okay, now 50 years. Can we still allow our children now, maybe like 20 years or 25 years children, to start now to inherit the thing our fathers has inherited from Britain and some white people? It's not possible. So the best answer for us is to come down from the bus and try and discuss how can we move out.
You are trying
and arrange ourselves.
You are trying to still discuss. Me, if I want to come down from the bus, I want jump window.
If jump to the window because hold on. If the car is running 120 kilometers
if the bus
you jump out from the bus? You must break the bus first.
No, if the bus sees a pothole and slows down, I will jump. I will jump. You don't tire me. I know do again. No, be by force. If he slow down to like 30, if he see.
26 Boxing Day. Yes, I'm very happy for you because you have the opportunity to coordinate people. To coordinate people is not an easy thing. I'm really telling you the truth. So, but what will we emphasize within ourselves, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa? We have to go back to a drawing table, and then.
So what you're saying? The drawing table. Okay, let me tell you. I think I can summarize what you're trying to say. I mean, seriously here. I understand your point. You're calling from Germany, and you're looking at it from a pan-African viewpoint, where every one of us as Africans don't need to hate one another, don't need to talk bad of one another, and we just need to see how we can resolve it amicably. Now, however,
nobody caused the problem.
Yeah, but hold on. However, having said that, but there is a greater problem here. A greater problem is, I gave this analogy 2 days ago as well, and I'll repeat here. If you ask that JAMB, the cutoff mark in JAMB will be 200 or 300, let's say for argument's sake, because when we took JAMB, it was 220 actually. And let's say 300. I know that somebody from the Southwest would try to beat the 300 cutoff mark. Somebody from the Southwest, Southeast, or South will try to do the same. But someone from some part of Nigeria would want to. reduce it to 80 if possible, 90 or 70. And that is a fundamental problem. Now, if someone is not seeing that there is an issue, then, you know, you and I are here spending time. You know, many of you in Europe, you're lucky you pay your monthly data. Some of us, many people in Nigeria here, they have their subscription, but they are still watching this show because of the conversations we are having. So the thing is, if we have 3 parts and 2 parts are agreeing together and 1 part is not agreeing, for Christ's sake, if in my analogy of the car, and I say, okay, guys, if we push this car for 2 kilometers, we will get to a downhill that the downhill is about 20 miles. We can probably roll. The 20 miles is where the mechanic is to fix this car. And one person says no. Everything, any solution will bring. One person will say no, because that person probably, you know, is benefiting from the mess. Therefore, it will be very idiotic for the remaining two not to team together and rescue themselves. And that's where I call for Southern solution. And that's, on that note, I'll say thank you for your call.
Thank you very much. Certainly, you are saying exactly where I wanted to.
But not the way you
we have to do. We have to pull down this constitution down and then put a column of referendum, so that if the 3 of us cannot buy anything together, we have to put a referendum like Britain now and Europe. See how they made it. Deal or no deal. The letter in the dying point, they said deal.
Okay.
We have to fight for it. Because if we start any problem now, we will destroy our children's lives.
Okay.
No matter people that is in Nigeria now, they don't know what is happening in Europe.
Yeah.
They don't know how these people are suffering. They go to work, they come back, they make sure they do what they want to do with law. So, economy man die, economy man bury.
That's true. Thank you.
That is what
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. I'll take it from there. Thank you very much. Okay?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, I see Tears of God says, Maazi Ezeoke, you're not in Nigeria. Wallahi, go and buy me palm wine now, so that, or you see, we can meet in Enugu tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is 26th. So let's meet in Enugu now. Let's see. If you're in Nigeria, let's meet at Otiba, please. Otiba Junction. And before I take any more calls, I think I want to first of all appreciate Kenry Bar for the super chat. Kenry, thank you very much. And I think there was another super chat from JCI Global Ministries. Maazi, you have no idea who you are. Igbo people are God's chosen people. Of course, I know that Igbo people are God's chosen people. All of the riches and treasures of the Igbo nation are in Christ Jesus. Okay. I don't know if we have to agree with this or just well, for argument's sake, I will say yes, you're right, and you know, that's true. Okay, so Law says, Maazi, I'm going to bed. Boy, Law, after 2 hours of arguing with everybody, you're going to bed. You're the one that made me stay this long. Now you want to leave me and go to bed. Please, Law, don't leave me now. Come back. Oh dear, I'm having a swell time, people. You can go for a referendum without pulling constitution down. How would that work? But you need, I think, hold on, let me call back someone who's been calling for a long time. Uche. Some real. Yeah, Uche, you're live now. Sorry, I'm calling you back.
Okay, you're live. Okay.
So go ahead. You called me.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've been waiting for I don't know how long now.
Yeah, the line has been really busy.
Expanding on so on. So it's really, I don't know. Of course, you know, like I said before, people have the right to have their own opinion.
Of course.
If where I stand goes this way, in the struggle of our people. I know. I don't care if there are like 5 or 10 people, as far as we get what we want. Both Ahaneze system or Nandekano, IPOP or Masop or let everybody, do what they can. What we are after is the betterment of Igbo land and Biafra in general. So somebody was arguing about, not following, we can't have just one person. I prefer in multitask. And if welcome to us, let the South organize ourselves and take care of it. Like you were just finished saying with he was answering the other guy calling from Germany. We had 3 people are planning and one decided to say no. Let these 2 think for themselves and think for the betterment of their people and decide. So if the whole South can take decision and decide what they want, the other one cannot stop them from getting the objectives, be heard or doing everything they can just to, because the way things are going now, it seems like we are on a roller coaster and we don't know where we're going to end. So, and I just hope the new Ohaneze, the new leadership waiting for the election. So know where the new president stands, and of course he must try to fight for the betterment of Ndibo. So I just have few things to put in, and I think I should ask this law who always insulting people there to take, just do what he's there to do by exchanging ideas. Nobody have time to insult one another in this platform. So thank you, my brother. Keep it up, God bless.
As per law, I would say law is like a man from Izi or Iza from Ebony State who went to Nzuko Monna, to his kinsman meeting, and he was not allowed to speak. But on his way, on his way home, he's just saying to himself, so I was saying that if they don't allow me to talk, I will be speaking my mind on the way. So I think we have allowed him to talk as well. So I mean, he's a very liberal here. So
yeah, of course. You allow. It's really good. You allow everybody on comments, and he didn't want to block him just for him to make fool of himself by insulting. And for me,
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's not worth it. Thank you very much, my brother. So
thank you, my brother.
Say you well to lovely people. We will chat inbox. I think I'll find time to be in Apple, so in your village. So if let's chat maybe towards the new year or towards
okay.
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 Thank you very much, my brother. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. I think I never planned to be this long, so please, I would say it's been a wonderful experience having every one of us. But this evening, a couple of issues came up. So you can see how we've slightly veered off from the topic of conversation today and see where we have landed ourselves. What this evening conversation basically showed is that there is a lot that needs to be brought in the open. There is a lot that we need to speak about. And there is a lot that we really, really need to dig into and talk about them. There is no need hiding or shying away from them. But one thing I would, urge us is if we can always try to stay within the topic because I don't want to sound a little bit rude for basically cutting people off for vein of what is being said. But if it's days that we do random thoughts, then random thoughts means everything from A to Z, but equally, it's also good. In conclusion here, people, I will ask us to please be more respectful to people, because every one of us here find their time to be here, and we all have the things we do. We all have the contributions we make. Yourself, you have to know this, and I keep saying it. In Igbo once more, enibe if you know be ogalanya, enibe mboba. If you dobie, mboba choba ya efi, not ogalanya. In loose translation, it will mean let the ego perch and let the kite perch. The ego cannot do away with the kite, neither will the kite do away with the ego. Both, in some instances, and our current situation in Nigeria as it stands today, we need the ego, we need the kite, we need the street, we need the people at the top. Those at the top who cannot look down on the streets saying the streets are constituting nuisance. No. Neither will the streets say that those there are just mere wastage. No. Because everyone to their own strength. There are things the streets can do, the top can't. There are things the top can do, the street will not have what it takes to do. Everything is not about insult. Everything is not about we want it now, now, now. That's why there are people that will be talking about now, now, now. It's fine. They have their own, it has its own psychological push. But the greater engine block, the greater thinking, the greater heavy lifting must be done by men of strategy. We coming to bring in the street and the top to a point of convergence. On that note, I will say thank you very much for this wonderful conversation. We will continue the conversation. Next time, the conversation might, what's it called? Tears of God said. We might have this conversation from 9th Mile. Then he will believe that we are here live. Thank you and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Everyone, you can please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, like this video, and see you next time. And once more, have a very fantastic evening. It's already Boxing Day, so put away all the boxes you used in getting your gift. I know many of you some of you would still want us to continue, but at some point we need to call it a day. And I say, thank you. I'm signing off. Remain blessed.